Hello everyone and welcome back to another reaction. Turns out we have some events to react to before we get to Sumeru. So I am recording these before Sumeru, but they probably might go up after we get there. It just kind of depends on where in the timeline of editing they fall. I definitely want to prioritize the episodes, which is why I'm hoping those will go up on schedule, but this one might not. That being said, I want to thank everybody who mentioned that I should watch this during the stream and in my comments because I forgot about it a couple times, but you all reminded me, so I appreciate that. The last thing I want to say before we get started is I have found this recording of the event. Thank you, Holy Balls, for your hard work here. And it has Lumine, but it's also broken up into several parts, and the parts altogether make a video that is quite long. I'm not sure why this is so long. I'm wondering if maybe the player included a couple of the gameplay moments, so we might end up skipping through those just in sake of time, because I think altogether this thing is, the video chain is 2 or 2.5 hours, which is almost double what we typically see for an event. So I just want to give you a heads up that that might or might not happen. In the meantime, I need to remember to get my video ready, and we should be good to go. So let's watch this thing.
Catherine, we heard that you have a new commission for us.
That's correct. There's a
Where is this?
requester who
Inazuma?
submitted a
I think so.
designated commission for
We are
the two of you.
Animo.
A designated commission? Sounds like it must be pretty important.
Sounds like we've been requested specifically. Why is this guy staring at us? Hello.
Exactly.
There's no
Aw.
need to worry.
That was
This
cute.
commission is not dangerous by any means. Perhaps you have heard that Inazuma will soon be holding a major festival, the magnificent Irodori Festival.
Oh, thank goodness there's music.
Oh,
I was about to say, it's so eerie how it's so
we haven't
quiet.
attended a festival in Inazuma for a while.
The Yashiro Commission and Lady Yae are responsible for all the festival preparations. The one who has requested your help is none other than Lady Yae herself.
Oh, so it's Miko's commission.
You know Miko. She always has some unusual ideas in her head. You can bet a festival planned by her is gonna be one to remember.
I feel like it's going to be a little chaotic.
Go to Grand Narukami Shrine and see what she needs us to do.
Sounds like a plan. It seems we've been roped into some work
Lady Yae
again.
is currently at Yae Publishing House
Oh.
in Hanamizaka, so there is no need to go all the way to the shrine. In fact, she has instructed me to have you directly meet with her there.
Oh, well that's convenient enough. Let's go then.
Aratani and Kuroda,
Oh,
how
we're
are
already
things
there.
coming along?
All the books and commission prints for Yae Publishing House were bound and sent out yesterday afternoon, Lady Yae.
Very good. And Murata?
We have already received word from Apekusu and Sailing Breeze that the materials are all in place for Shogun Almighty Reborn as Raiden with Unlimited Power and Pretty Please Kitsune Guji.
Well done. And what about you, Onodera?
It's so surreal to see her at work. Oh no, Onodera.
Ahem.
Oh!
Onodera?
Oh, yes, Lady Yae. Everything is ready for the new issue release party.
Wow, it turns out
You
she's
are
actually a
the
pretty
one who
intense
organized the
boss.
plans for this release party.
Somehow that's not
In
surprising.
other words, you are the team's fearless leader now. So please, show some confidence. Besides, there's no need to be nervous. This project is destined for success. I feel quite optimistic about it.
She's so
I
scary
shall
and
specially
yet so
grant you leave
supportive.
for the next couple of days, Onodera. Please take the opportunity to have a good rest. After all, you will be very busy on the day of the release party.
See, that
Yes,
sounds
Lady
like a
Yae.
threat,
Thank you very much.
but she's being considerate. What a character.
All right then. Is everyone clear about their assignments? Good. We're running out of time, so let's get moving. Chop chop.
How bizarre.
Hello, little ones. I take it you have received my commission,
Perhaps.
Some organizer you are! It's nearly time for the festival and you're still over here ramping things up for your light novel business! Shouldn't you be getting back to the Grand Narukami Shrine? You weren't thinking of dumping all the festival preparations on us, were you? If so, then you can forget it! Paimon won't accept such a commission!
Yeah, forget it. Though it seems like she's planning something with the
such
books.
Harsh words. It hurts to hear that kind of talk from you two. But as you can clearly see, I'm here working like a dog for the festival. Yet you say I'm not doing my job.
Right, the books are
Let me
for the
ask
festival,
you,
right?
little ones,
Yeah.
Whoever said that the festival must involve the Grand Narukami Shrine?
Huh? But isn't that a given? This is Inazuma after all.
I was going to say it makes sense that the books are
Yes,
involved.
that is true.
Since the
But
publishing
now that
house
the
is such
Sakoku
a big
decree
part
has
of
been
Inazuma.
lifted, Inazuma is no longer the same nation that once resisted change tooth and nail. Therefore, rather than sticking to the same old traditional festival, the Yashiro Commission and I have decided to shake things up a little. This time, we'll be holding an international cultural festival.
Wow.
Distinctly Inazuman, but with a unique twist.
Oh, that would have been so exciting.
I suppose I should start by telling you the origins of the Irodori festival.
Please do. Oh, that sounds like so much fun!
Legend has it that there were 5 poets in ancient Inazuma who were supremely gifted in singing and writing poetry. They are known as the 5 Kasen.
Okay.
Every year, one of the 5 would present a collection of the group's poems to the shogun for review, which would then spark culture discussions regarding those works.
With the music, it feels like she's setting up a mystery.
Inazuma's culture blossomed and gained great influence at that time. As time passed, people began creating various tales based on the 5 Kasen. The Irodori festival was also developed as a result to show appreciation for their works, which so greatly enriched our lives.
That is so cool.
Sounds
Inazuma
like a
history.
festival that's really rooted in culture.
Indeed. To describe it in the words of the ancients, it'd be refined elegance. Unfortunately, with the flow of time, people have gradually forgotten about the 5 Kasen and the festival. Which is precisely why I've decided to revive the Irodori festival by
Yes.
holding a cultural convention featuring light novels.
Light novels as the modern version of the poetry. What you just said about the refined
Please
elegance?
stop looking at me with those baffled expressions. In ancient times, poetry
Exactly.
was all the rage, but nowadays, the entertainment format of choice is light novels. The important thing
Exactly.
is not the format, but the creative work itself. It is impossible to come up with anything fresh if you're stuck using some rigid format of the past. Speaking of which, don't you think that the concept of focusing on the now perfectly suits the current Inazuma? And besides, it's a great opportunity to reintroduce Inazuma to all Teyvat through light novels. As they say, it's 2 birds with 1 stone.
Sounds like a whole
that
lot
was
of thinly
close.
veiled
Really
self-justifications.
carried away by Miko's persuasive tongue.
She is very persuasive, isn't she?
Come on, Miko. You can't fool us. We know you by now. This is all definitely stemming from your own personal interest.
Paimon has such good delivery.
I can't deny that my hobbies had no part to play in this. However, regardless of whether it's light novels or a festival, catching people's attention with a fresh concept is the essence here. Well, what do you say? Aren't you two even a little curious about what interesting things you might see at the festival?
Now I'm very curious.
Maybe a little. Oh, all right. Paimon's super curious now.
Come, let's pay a visit to the venue in Rito together.
In
I
Rito?
promise that it will give you a whole new perspective on the festival.
Where? The main
There
square,
will
do you
meet a
think? With the
special
big tree?
someone who will tell you more about your tasks.
A special someone.
During the Irodori festival,
here we
the
are,
area
main
around
square.
The Outlander
What is
Affairs
with this
Agency will become
rendering?
the main exhibition space for light novels. Once things are in full swing, not only will there be lots of official and fan-created work on display, there'll also be exclusive giveaways, prizes, and new release parties.
That
This
sounds like
small
so much
plaza in front
fun.
of the International Trade Association will be called the 5 Kasen Plaza during the festival.
Look at the...
And
yeah.
nearby shops will be selling special light novel merchandise. You certainly won't want to miss out.
You sound like an advertisement.
How should Paimon put this? It's definitely not your typical festival, but it sure looks like it'll be quite the party.
Yeah, it's like a light novel paradise. It's like a convention.
What are these blank boards in the center of the plaza?
Yes, those are...
Oh? Secrets?
Ah, Lady I did mention that there would be some reliable helpers
hello.
coming to assist with the festivities. It appears she meant you two. At last we meet again, Traveler and Paimon.
Hi!
Tell me, how are you faring recently?
His voice reminds me of Baiju.
It's Hayato! Wow, so even a busy guy like yourself
Wow,
is
look
here
at
to
him.
attend the Irodori festival.
Preparing festivals falls under the Yashiro Commission's scope of responsibilities. Seeing as Lady
That's a
Ai
really
has
cool
poured her heart and
outfit.
soul into the preparations, I'm obliged to be equally dedicated.
I love the combination of the robes and the pants.
Come now, Ayato. We're not strangers here. There's no need to sound so formal. We were just about to discuss the boards over here. They're related to our little helper's tasks, so I'll let you give them a detailed rundown.
Wow, yeah,
Certainly.
his outfit's really like a combination
I
of
assume
traditional
you two
style
already
and
know
modern
that the
style
Irodori
business
Festival
clothing.
originated from the 5 Kasen.
Interesting.
These 5 boards are here for painting their portraits.
Oh, okay.
This Irodori festival is not only the first major
Painting.
festival to be held in Inazuma since the lifting of the Sakoku decree, it is also an event deeply rooted in culture and the arts. Therefore, the Yashiro Commission has personally invited several cultural celebrities from other nations.
Ooh.
For example, the artist we have invited to paint these portraits hails from the distant land of
Wait.
Mondstadt.
Art,
The Yashiro
wait,
Commission will
painting
arrange
from
accommodations and
Mondstadt?
food in Inazuma for each of the distinguished guests.
Wait,
However, we fear that staying in a foreign land may feel a little uncomfortable.
let's just,
Which
can we
is
just
precisely
skip
why it would be
ahead?
ideal to
No,
have
I
someone
can't do that.
familiar with both Inazuma and other nations of Tevat to serve as a guide for our guests.
Toma?
I knew you would catch
Oh,
on.
no, us. So this
It
is our
hope that you
commission.
would be able to guide the guests from the harbor to their residence at the International Trade Association, while providing any necessary assistance along the way.
I would
This
love
arrival
to be given
schedule
that job,
includes the
actually.
details of the ships on which the guests will be arriving.
Whoa, look at his
All
shoulder
you simply
armor.
have to do is go to the docks at the indicated
cool.
times.
Oh, 2 days before the festival, ship and guest large passenger ships bards from Mondstadt. A guest painter, Calx, and his dependent. Oh, I don't know that person, actually. Okay, that's okay. We get to meet more people. Estimated time of arrival, 8 a.m. Second day of the festival, shipping guests, passenger ship, calligraphers, painters from Larua, theater, mechanics, players, and a guest writer, Genu? Theater mechanic. Yunjin, maybe? I wonder. 10 a.m. Third day of the festival, ship and guest cargo ship stop over 1 person. Large cargo ship. Not from Mondstadt or Larua. And this is before Sumeru, right? So maybe this is a Sumeru teaser. Following day, the release event, ship and guest small passenger ship, 2 persons, 10 a.m. Or it could be them. Oh, I'm so curious.
It's settled then. My, look at the time. I have to meet with my editors, so I must be going
I
now.
wonder how many NPCs
During the festival,
versus
most
playable
of the
characters will be
publishing
coming.
house's editors will be staying near the Outlander Affairs Agency. If you run into any problems, you may find them there.
I feel like they're going
This
to bring in
festival
at least
requires
1
the
or
full
2 playable
cooperation of the
characters,
Tri
right?
Commission, and there are still many minor details which require my attention, so I must excuse myself for now. I'll leave the guests in your hands.
I'm very excited to meet them.
We need about the
Oh,
ships are on the timetable
hello,
that
Drumley.
Ayato gave us.
I was wondering if you'd be one of the guests.
Let's take a closer
Oh, they have
look and
Ayaka.
be sure to pick up the passengers according to the times written on it.
It's a nice team they've got there, actually. Hello. I'm saying hello to the ship if you're wondering. Oh, NPCs. Okay, cool.
Hello, you must be here to take part in the Irodori Festival. We're the festival guides, and we'll show you around.
Yes, that's right. We are
Lyra.
bards from Mondstadt.
Nice to meet you. Welcome
Word has
in.
it that Inazuma has undergone many changes of late. We hope to find fresh inspiration here.
Paimon, what are you doing?
These guests are all bards, aren't they? Well, where's Tone Deaf Bard then?
One thing said if he were to come, it might cause an international incident.
famous
Oh,
in
wait a minute.
Mondstadt.
Wasn't he on the thing?
Think
The
he didn't
thumbnail?
receive an invitation?
Even if he was invited, there's a chance he wouldn't show up. Well, you know, Venti's
Oh, Paimon sees what you're getting
Is he
at.
gonna sneak in?
Venti no longer rules over
He's gonna
mine.
show up and cause an
He's still
incident, I
an
feel
archon.
like. In a fun way.
If he came rushing rushing to Inazuma.
Is he there?
at the
Is he
first
there?
mention of a festival, not only
It's
would it
Klee!
feel a little childish, it would also sort of be shameless of him too.
But that would be exactly in character for him.
Miss Honorary Knight, Paimon!
Hi, Klee! I want you to meet Yoimiya so badly.
Were you also invited to the Irodori festival?
Yeah, what are you, Klee?
No, Albedo's the one who received the invitation.
Hi!
But because everyone in the Knights of Favonius has been really busy these days, Albedo arranged for someone here to issue me a dependent pass.
Oh my god, she's so
Greetings,
cute.
traveler in
Hi!
After hearing that Inazuma was making preparations for the Irodori festival, I predicted that I might run into you here.
Hi! Why am I so excited? I'm not even playing the event.
The one they've invited to paint the 5 Kasen.
I'm so excited
That you
though.
already know why I'm here. Just so you're aware, I'll be using
Oh!
my pen name in Inazuma, Calx.
Hell.
By the way,
What does that mean?
do you know where the International Trade Association is? I'll be meeting with the editorial director of the
Him and
Publishing House there.
Yaemiko in a conversation would be so interesting.
Association is where you'll be staying in Inazuma. We'll be heading there too.
I'm smiling so much right now.
Let's get going then.
This is ridiculous.
Wow, it's so beautiful here. So many things I've never seen before.
Aw, Klee would love this,
Slow
wouldn't
down,
she?
Klee. Please be careful not to bump into others.
She runs into somebody too quickly and she sets off all the bombs in
Telling
her
Klee so
backpack.
many stories about Inazuma during the trip was probably not the best idea.
Have you been here before?
As a result, she could hardly sleep
Or
all
do
the
you
way
just know
here.
things?
It appears she's even more excited now that we've arrived.
That's how kids are. Nothing wrong with a little
Strange.
excitement.
It seems that the editorial director, Mr. Hiroyama, isn't here yet. I'm certain
That's
he
not
said that
Yai.
he'd be sure to arrive before me. This might be a problem.
What's wrong?
Well, Mr. Hiroyama was supposed to meet with me and give me some reference materials about the 5 Kasen today.
Are we gonna go
That
track
way.
it down?
I could better visualize the content for my paintings.
You mean you had no idea what you'd be painting before you arrived in Inazuma?
I mean, they lived hundreds of years ago
I
now.
only know of the 5 Kasen by name. Because of the sheer age of the tale,
Yeah.
very little has been passed down to this day. So Mr. Hiroyama decided to help me collect some more information. I'm the type of painter who can complete a painting quickly as long as I'm inspired. So I agreed on only receiving the details today.
So when do the paintings have to be done by?
Today? Tomorrow?
According to the festival plans, the portraits will be revealed one at a time throughout the various stages of the Irodori festival. The first one, depicting Suiko, will need to be done before the festival's official opening ceremony, which is the day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow? Then you're already running out of time!
I wonder how they're going to
There's
keep it
no
hidden
need to
until
panic.
then.
When I
Build
was
a
working on light novel illustrations,
Screen around
because
it?
the manuscripts are shipped by boat, things were always tight and finished at the last minute.
Oh!
Just last month,
Light
to
novel
ensure the latest book
illustrations.
of A Legend of Sword would be finished for the Irodori festival, I had to complete the final chapter's illustrations the same
That
day I
is so
received the
cool.
manuscript.
He's an
I heard that
illustrator?
my illustrations were sent to print as
Oh, I
soon
love
as they
that.
arrived in Inazuma. I still don't know how well they turned
Oh,
out.
good. Poster of the Shogun back there.
Paimon isn't sure if she should feel sympathetic for your working conditions or compliment you on your artistic genius.
He's certainly
Of
hardworking.
course, I would still prefer to receive any possible reference materials in advance, so that I can be better prepared.
Speaking of which, Miko did mention.
The editors of the Yai Publishing House will all be around the Outlander Affairs Agency these next few days.
Right, so we can find them there.
Knows?
We have
Maybe
any
Mr.
troubles.
Hiroyama's over there too. We'll take you over there to see if we can find him, Albedo.
Alright, it's worth a try. Klee, you haven't slept for a while now. Please stay at our residence in the International
Oh
Trade
my
Association
God.
and get some rest. We will be back soon.
Okie dokie. Don't
These two are
worry,
so
Albedo.
adorable.
I'll be on my best behavior.
Oh my goodness, we get to see him being older brother Albedo, and we get to see her being little sister
The
Klee.
moment we need to contact Onodera is when he's on special leave.
They're adorable.
Kuroda and I will go back to Inazuma City for an emergency printing run. The demand for this book is so high, though. Even with the emergency prints, it still might not be enough.
Is that a poster of Yaemiko in the
Despite
background?
everything,
Oh, yes
we're
it
still
is.
lucky that we found out today.
Who's that person with the blue
if this
hair?
had happened a few days later, then we'd really be in boiling water. Ugh. Hey, do you think that suspicious guy they found in the warehouse has anything to do with this?
Oh boy,
Well,
here we go.
The editorial director
Somebody's
is on
causing
his
trouble.
way
Is it
over there to
Venti?
investigate the situation as we speak.
Oh no, that's the guy we need.
Sorry to interrupt, but what's going on here?
Oh, hey, Traveler. Don't worry. It's nothing, just an internal issue. That's all. How can I help you?
I'm looking for the editorial director, Mr. Hirayama. Does anyone know where he is now?
Mr. Hirayama is currently at the warehouse down by the harbor.
Oh, hold on a second, Murata. Excuse me, but you must be Calx, the one who was invited to paint the 5 Kasen for the festival?
Do you guys have the reference
Yes,
material?
that's me.
My name is Kuroda. You must be inquiring about information regarding the 5 Kasen. I do apologize, but please make yourself comfortable at the International Trade Association, and I will let Mr. Hirayama know to send you the materials right away.
Oh, no need. You guys look super busy, so we can go find you guys out.
I think they don't want us going to the warehouse.
About that.
Excuse me, but is there something wrong with the latest volume of A Legend of Sword?
Oh, and he would be personally invested, wouldn't he?
How did you know?
Since you were all aware that Mr. Hirayama needed to send me some supporting materials, that means the editorial director didn't forget about it. Instead, something urgent must have cropped up. To add to that, despite being aware that I am Calx, you were still unwilling to let me go to Mr. Hirayama directly. After considering these factors, the only reason you would try to stall me is if something happened to A Legend of Sword, which I did the illustrations for.
And there's that logic again.
I'm very sorry. The situation is just as you said, Calx. I suppose it doesn't hurt to tell you now. Earlier today, someone spotted a suspicious outlander sneaking around inside the Irodori Festival
Is it
warehouse down by the
Venti?
docks. So they promptly alerted the Tenryo Commission. The Tenryo Commission was concerned about potential cargo theft, so they contacted everyone who was renting space in the warehouse. It was then that we realized that the latest copies of A Legend of Sword had suddenly gone
Why would
missing.
he steal it?
What? The books are missing?
Shh, not so loud. Not only is this book an eagerly anticipated release in the last phase of the Irodori Festival, but the author, Chinyu, will be personally attending the release party as well.
Because of the dire situation, Mr. Hirayama immediately hurried to the warehouse to determine whether the theft was related to that suspicious outlander.
I see.
Oh,
It would
right,
be
the
a great
Outlander might not
misfortune
have
if A Legend
necessarily
of Sword
stolen
would
it.
not be released on schedule. And quite a disappointment for Chinyu as well.
Oh, they probably
If
know each
Mr.
other, do you think?
Hirayama has gone to the warehouse at the docks, then I'll go down to see if I can be of any help.
So the author of A Legend of Sword is Jayu. Sounds
Oh!
familiar. Hey, isn't that Xingqiu's pen name?
Is it?
Oh, do you know him?
We've met on a couple of occasions. Do you know him?
Definitely be upset if he discovers his books are missing. Let's accompany
He would be
Alberta to the
outraged.
warehouse too.
By the way, I looked up... Oh, hi, Sarah. I looked up Calx, and it directly translates Venti to lime, which is a type of chalk. Chalk prints.
It's you!
I think
What
it's a
are
type
you
of chalk
here?
anyways. I think that's the
I'm
connection
here
there.
on behalf of the Tenryo Commission, of course.
We're not asking you,
Is that
Sarah.
surprising?
No, Sarah, Paimon wasn't talking about you! So, tone deaf Bob. The suspicious outlander in the warehouse wouldn't happen to be you, would it?
Hi, Venti.
Considering the evidence, it appears that the suspicious outlander is indeed me.
What is with
As
that
I've
response?
told you, you are a suspect. Before your allegations of theft and illegal
He shows up
entry
in
as a
Inazuma and is
stowaway are
immediately
clear, you are to
arrested.
remain silent. Don't make me say it again. Traveler,
He
Paimon,
probably feels the
do you know
opposite of
this
threatened by this girl,
self-proclaimed bard
though.
from Mondstadt?
You could say we're quite familiar.
Listen, Sarah. Knowing him, it's safe to say that he wasn't behind the theft. But what's this about being a stowaway?
Although he claims to be a special guest for the Irodori Festival, he's failed to present his invitation letter. Therefore, we can only suspect that he might have
That's
entered
why he
the
wasn't on the
country
boat?
illegally.
Or that's why he didn't pop
And
up
just
earlier?
a moment ago, we caught him in a dandelion wine crate near the Sailing Breeze.
Could we ask him a few
If it
questions?
would help shed any light on the situation, then please, Be my guest.
When he says he's a special guest, you think he just invited himself?
Venti! You didn't really come here illegally, did you?
Did you?
Ouch, your words wound me. We've been apart for so long, and the moment
That's
we
a
meet
yes.
again, all I'm greeted with is grilling questions and suspicious glares.
It's been so long since we've seen him.
You arrived in Inazuma via similar means, or so I heard. You of all people should be more understanding.
That's still a yes.
Similar means?
We had no choice.
I merely jest.
That's funny.
For the person who sent me the invitation is none other than Kamisato Ayato of Yashiro Commission. It's unlikely that someone acquainted with the likes of him would ever be
Is that
here
true?
illegally, right?
Where is your invitation then?
You on the same ship as the other bards?
Good question.
Once I received the invitation letter, I couldn't help but want to come to Inazuma a little early. It was then that I happened upon a cargo ship bound for Inazuma
He was
transporting
excited.
dandelion wine. So, naturally, I decided to set sail with them.
But where's your
Once
letter?
aboard,
And
I
how do you
found the
know
captain to be a
Kamisato
kindred
Ayato?
spirit, and I was treated to an abundance of fine liquor along the way. I must have fallen asleep in the cargo crate while carefully comparing the tastes of dandelion wine and Inazuman sake. And when I woke up, I found myself in this warehouse with a Tenryo Commission General glaring at me from atop the grate.
It sounds so unbelievable that it must be true.
This story is quite believable, but it still feels a bit...
Shameless?
Excuse me, I'm the owner of the stolen goods from the
Hello.
publishing house, and there are some questions I would like to ask you.
We've been looking
Based
for
on
you.
what you just said, it seems you've been in the warehouse for some time now. If that's the case, did you happen to hear anything unusual?
Ooh, yeah, you could be a witness.
Actually, I did hear some faint footsteps around me a couple of times, but I didn't consider the sound anything out of the ordinary.
But if you clearly heard something, why didn't you feel it was unusual?
Oh, I seem to understand now.
There's a busy warehouse?
What did you notice, Albedo?
When it comes to burglars, they are generally associated with prying or rummaging through things. What Venti means is that he did not hear anything unusual like
So
that.
this person knew exactly where to look and
As
exactly
for
what
the
they were
sound of
looking for?
footsteps, because this is a warehouse where many goods are coming in and out each day,
Exactly.
it is quite normal for people to be walking around.
I see. But if that's the case, then we're back to square one regarding the stolen books.
No, not quite. From the facts that have been presented to us, we can draw at least 3 conclusions now. First, whoever took the novels is not a spur-of-the-moment burglar. They had their sights on the books from the very beginning. Second, the
Could it be a
culprit was
competitor?
very familiar with the warehouse, and might even have a key. And third,
There must be more than
I
one
need a
criminal
catch-all
involved?
traveler. One person couldn't possibly transport so many heavy books in such a short window of time. It must have been a team effort. It goes without saying that Venti clearly does not match up with our culprits.
Yes, I agree with your reasoning.
Great.
Mr. Hirayama, the Tenryo Commission will continue by investigating the warehouse staff. If you come across any further clues, please notify us immediately.
It could even just be festival staff
Yes,
who
understood.
got the
I'll
wrong
leave it to you
orders
then.
or misunderstood something.
I suppose I'm free as a bird then.
Nope. You still stowed away.
Not so fast. Even though we've cleared the theft allegations, we still haven't ascertained whether your arrival in Inazuma was legal or not.
Run for it, Venti!
Aw, 'tis a
Escape
shame.
now!
I thought surely after my honest account you might let me off the hook.
Is he asking for help?
The meticulous one. So, where's your invitation letter, Venti?
See, that's the question.
Yes, the invitation letter. I'm truly sorry. I can't seem to remember where I may have put it.
You lost it? Really?
How could you lose something so important?
I suppose we can ask Kamisato Ayato, but he's
I was
busy.
well aware of how important it was. But I didn't bring any luggage with me, and the letter was too big to fit in my pocket. So I kept it in my hand the whole trip.
Did the thief steal it?
Strange.
That would be really funny.
Though I had a little too much to drink, I know that I kept it in a secure place.
In your hand.
I even recall being most pleased at coming up with a good idea at the time.
Not very secure if you fall asleep.
You were holding the invitation in your hands the whole time, then why did you put it down?
Well, To properly compare the taste of Mondstadt wine and Inazuman sake, I had to hold a glass in each hand.
He's so
I couldn't
ridiculous.
both hold the invitation and a glass at the same time. But surely I wouldn't put it in just any random place. It could easily be misplaced.
Did you put it in a book?
In which case, I believe there's only one place it could be. Have you figured it out, Traveler?
Huh? You're way ahead of Paimon. Do you two already know where the invitation letter is?
In his shoe, in his cape, in his hat? In his hat.
Ah, yes. I remember now. I knew you'd help me find it.
Is it in your hat and it's been there the whole time and you didn't feel it? Oh my god.
This is indeed an invitation letter issued by the Yashiro
This is so
Commission.
funny.
Now that we've confirmed this guest's identity, I have no further questions.
Great.
However, starting tonight, I would advise you to stay at the International Trade Association. Now, if you'll excuse me,
No
I'll be
sleeping on
leaving
roofs or something. Bye, Sarah. What was that noise?
There goes Sarah. All right, let's go talk to Mr. Hirayama about Albedo's reference materials.
Mr. Hiroyama, I'm Calx. We had originally arranged to meet today.
I wonder if Albedo and Venti know
yes,
each other.
So you are, Calx. I'm very sorry that you've arrived in Inazuma only to find such a mess. These are the materials regarding the 5 Kasen. All the information that we could find is compiled here.
Helpful that he has them on him. I suppose he expected to deliver them to Calx today, but I'm glad he didn't put them down. Okay, 5 Kasen summary. About the 5 Kasen. Long ago, there were 5 legendary poets in Inazuma. Supremely gifted in music and writing, they were honored as the 5 Kasen, meaning 5 fairies of singing and poetry. It is said that the shogun loved their works profoundly, and that every year one of them would go to Tenshukaku and present their new poetry collection for the shogun's perusal. The 5 Kasen are known as Suiko, Aoi no Okina, Akahito, Sumizome, and Kuronushi, respectively. But their real names are lost in history. According to a widely accepted theory, tales of the 5 Kasen had once been repeatedly adapted and performed on stage, with the 5 characters each dressed in a distinct color: green, blue, red, white, and black. Over time, theatergoers started referring to them by these colors, hence the names we see today. Right, because Aoi is blue, and Akahito, I think Aka is red. Suiko might be green. Kuro is black. Sumi white? Maybe I'm not sure about Suiko or Sumizome. Anyhow, still there exist other theories. For instance, some believe Suiko was named after his dwelling, a thatched cottage called Suiko Hut. Some also say that the Aka and Akahito was derived from the poet's habit of marking his works with the scarlet red seal. So I wonder if that person dressed in blue we saw on one of the banners was supposed to be one of these poets, Aoi no Okina maybe? Except if we don't know what they look like and Albedo is here to draw them, they shouldn't have any pictures already up, so I wonder who that blue person is. No, scroll down!
Let's
Sadness.
Yes, it's just as I had suspected. Monikers such as Suiko and Aoi no Okina aren't the real names of the 5 Kasen. Though there were once many stories regarding each of the 5 Kasen, the validity of their contents can no longer be verified in present times. Alas, what a shame. But, at the very least, we know that most of the stories were written according to a similar style, so there is still something we may glean from this.
So, is the info useful for your paintings, Albedo?
To some extent, yes. However, I must admit that it is still lacking and fails to fulfill the most crucial element. Inspiration.
I am
Should we read
sorry
some
that
of
this
their
information
poetry?
is not as exhaustive as you had hoped. However, it is not possible to gather anything more at the moment. Though, Lady Yae did say that there are many variations of the story about the 5 Kasen, and everyone has a different story in their heart. So all you need to do is follow through with what's in your own heart, and create something that you yourself find interesting.
Basically, he has
Sound like
creative
something
license,
Miko would
but
say.
he'd probably
Thank
want to
you,
do a good
Mr.
job
Hirayama.
anyways.
No need to worry. I'll find inspiration for the portraits.
Great. I'll leave it to you then, Calx. Oh, and there's one more thing I need to ask of everyone. Tomorrow morning, Mr. Genyu, the author of A Legend of Sword, will be arriving in Inazuma by boat. If you see him, please do not mention the stolen novels for the time being.
I feel like he's just going to
Whether
immediately
the stolen
figure it
books are
out.
eventually recovered or not, the Yae Publishing House will do its best to ensure that the novel's release is a success.
I get it now.
You have my gratitude. I'll be going then.
Good luck. Oh, I want to investigate the crime scene.
There's nothing more we can do here.
Bye, Venti.
Let's go.
I guess he stopped. I thought he was just leaving.
Huh? Betty? What are you doing over there? You don't want us to leave you behind, do
Such
you?
a free spirit, just wandering away.
Albedo, would you mind coming over here for a moment? There's something peculiar that I think you should see.
Oh, so he does know Albedo.
What is
And we
it,
do get to investigate.
piece of paper?
Yay. Piece of a book?
Indeed. When I awakened to find myself in the warehouse,
Oh my god, he's actually holding it.
this paper in the
That's
cargo crate where I
incredible.
was sleeping. I didn't think much of it then. I thought it was merely a scrap piece of paper that had fallen into the cargo. After a quick glance, I stuffed it into a place nearby. But on second thought, I think it's worth having you take a look at what's written on it.
Everything he does feels so mischievous. I think it's because of the expressions he keeps pulling. The 5 costs in splendor, Suiko. Mine dwelling was far from the wider world, but for my fame, my peace was disturbed. In blue clad, I went before Tenshikaku to present our work, but Aoi's work was missing a page. I knelt and begged for divine wrath to be stilled, and I told what I knew of how it was lost. The previous night I had been drunk, and then a person's shadow had passed over me. Some treacherous scoundrel must have stolen the poem, leading to my great loss of face. Interesting. In blue clad, I went to Tenshikaku, so Suiko was wearing blue, but Aoi's work was missing a page. So the names don't necessarily match up one-to-one, perhaps. But doesn't this feel like what just happened? Is someone recreating the past?
Let me see. Suiko chapter. Wait a minute. Isn't Suiko the name of one of the 5 kasen?
That's why this paper is so yellow, huh? It's super old.
Down to Suiko getting tipsy and letting some poems that were meant for the shogun get stolen. Ah, this story sounds familiar to my ear. Where have I heard it?
Just now?
Seriously? It's literally the same story you just experienced yesterday.
So did the thief have this on them? The thieves?
Oh, indeed it is. Interesting, isn't it?
It almost seems related to the
Yes,
stolen
I concur.
novels.
The person who left this paper could quite possibly be the criminal, or even a witness to the theft. But why leave the paper here in such a fashion? And if the one who left it here was a witness, why didn't they attempt to stop the burglary?
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I hope our
Meeting together
monsters are
in Inazuma
enjoying the
like this is a
Inazuma
most
music.
Rare occasion. Since we've been busy from the start of the day, let us find an inn with good drink to keep our thirst at bay.
We still have to show you to your rooms.
You just sobered up and you're already thinking about more drinks? And let's not forget that Albedo still has a portrait to complete. We don't have time to be slacking off.
No, it's fine. Let's all go for a drink together. It'll be my treat.
Really?
Wait a minute.
Oh, he's looking for inspiration.
As I mentioned before, I'm the kind of artist who can work quickly once I'm inspired. And now, it seems I've found my source of inspiration.
Really? Is it the mystery?
If I use a model as reference for the piece, we must pay him back with the appropriate recompense.
Oh, you're gonna use Venti?
In that case, we'll need to order more dishes.
To stand in for Suiko, maybe? Because they both had a similar thing happen to them.
One year, the
Oh!
poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from
Fun.
the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out.
Wait, this is so
Suiko
cute.
was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled
That's
a mysterious
adorable.
figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
Ooh, yoink.
Every journey has it.
Hi, Chummy.
Wow, you really came through, Albedo. You were able to complete the first portrait before the opening ceremony.
That's
Yes,
incredible.
It really is a sight to behold. Not only does it harken to the traditional style of Inazuma, but it also makes use of modern aesthetics. My figure is particularly striking. Even though I'm sound asleep in the portrait, I still appear as glorious as always.
So if characters are going to be used as references, I wonder who the others will be.
You were just a model. The person in the artwork isn't actually you.
Definitely Xingqiu for the blue-themed one, right?
Who will be your next portrait?
The next one will be Aoi no Okina of the 5 Kasen.
Maybe Klee for the red one?
Might I suggest waiting a little before starting on the next one? Who knows? You might soon discover another story.
Venti feels like he knows too much.
I believe he's referring to the possibility of finding another paper with tales of the 5 Kasen. According to the reference materials I was given, we've only found the first of a total of 4 chapters.
Do you think the mysterious person
4,
who left
not
the
5?
first paper will strike again?
You mean 4 more? Total of 4.
It certainly is a possibility. Also, there are some points regarding the stories of the 5 Kasen that have left me rather curious.
Oh, he's invested
For
now
example,
too, isn't he?
The reference materials make mention of 5 legendary figures, yet all the popular stories only consist of 4 parts.
Yeah.
It appears that throughout all the stories, there is never a chapter dedicated to Kuronushi.
Interesting.
Yes, I'm also curious about these stories myself. But who knows? They may merely be akin to the old saying in Mondstadt. Seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time.
Bringing that up,
now,
are we?
We need but just wait patiently.
Oh! Oh! Oh, jump scare. Ending screen. Okay, let's switch over to the next video. Alright, starting with the next video. Still bringing up that quote in Inazuma. Oop, we just had that whole time shenanigan thing happening.
Hi there. You must be visiting from Larua to participate in the Irodori festival. We'll be your guides and we'll take you onto the island.
Thank you for coming. Long pause here. I can riff, I guess. We're happy to have you here.
Is it Paimon or have we met somewhere before?
Yes.
Oh,
in fact,
Shu!
I'm Shu from Feiyun Commerce Guild. Aboard this ship we have calligraphers, painters, and even players of Theater Mechanicus.
Right.
The inventor of Theater Mechanicus previously came to the Feiyun Commerce Guild seeking investment. Although the guild manager was not interested, the master still wanted to support them.
Sounds like
we
him.
heard that they'd be demonstrating the game and letting people try Theater Mechanicus at the Irodori Festival.
Oh,
So
game?
the guild manager instructed Master and I to take the opportunity to come to Inazuma and investigate the product's potential.
Oh, cool.
Oh, speaking of which, where's the young master?
Master, he's,
There he is. Is he seasick?
Xingqiu's just sitting there, sound asleep.
Snuck off the ship, sat down, fell asleep.
What?
You okay, Xingqiu?
Oh. It's the Traveler and Paimon. I presume you are guests in Inazuma as well? It seems fate has destined our paths to cross once again.
Are you feeling
We
alright?
aren't actually guests. We're actually guides for the Irodori festival.
You seem a little down. How are you?
Please, no need to worry. I was a little too caught up in a novel on the voyage here. When I finally realized what time it was, the first
Stayed
rays
up
of
all
dawn
night
were
sleeping.
already peeking over the horizon.
Good for you,
yes.
Xingqiu.
Now that we've arrived, the Kanjo Commission will likely wish to inspect our invitation letter. Let's keep it in hand, shall we?
So prepared.
That's odd.
Oh, was it stolen? What's
There
wrong?
was a piece of paper underneath my bag.
Oh.
Strange. I don't recall seeing it there before.
Somebody is deliberately planting these.
Come and have a look.
Yes! 5 Kasen Splendor, Aoi no Okina. Glorious court life was my youth, and my old age a moonlit haze. I had not wished to behave so treacherously, but my very life was threatened. So I sought out my old work and hid them in my clothes. I do not understand the reason behind all that has happened, only that the mysterious person's motives must be perverse. This poem was dedicated to Akihito, who, to my great sorrow, was banished. Ooh, I wonder why.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's from the same series as the story we found before. Even the handwriting looks exactly the same.
I feel like Xingqiu will be very
The
interested.
story you found before?
Oh yeah, in the warehouse down by the
Ahem.
by the poem hunt competition. Yeah, that's it. A friend of ours is on Rito to paint portraits of the 5 Kasen. You know, as part of the Irodori festival. Poetic stories about the 5 Kasen have been hidden in various places nearby.
I was just going to say, she's making a lot of work for someone, or for herself, to
Then there's a
set up this whole event immediately. But she's actually working with what's already happening.
So you mean that...
Uh-oh, he's on to us. Paimon, you're so terrible at making up stories.
There's a chance of meeting Kelks in person?
Oh! So they haven't met yet.
Yeah. You could say that.
They should meet.
Really? That's wonderful! I knew that Kelks would attend the Irodori festival, but convincing my father to let me come to Inazuma was proving to be quite the high hurdle.
This is so cute. It's like meeting up with your friend at a con.
Excuse of evaluating the investment value of Theater Mechanicus. Just a few days later, word then came that Kelks would be busy painting portraits of the 5 Kasen during the festival. It is a most rare opportunity for both Kelks and I to be in Inazuma together, but it seemed he would be too busy with the portraits to meet with me. So, I felt quite disappointed for some time now.
I'm sure he would have made time.
Don't worry, Shinjo. Even though Kelks has work to do, he still has time to see friends. We can take you to see him right now.
Yeah, and deliver the paper.
Also, we heard that Kelks did illustrations for your A Legend of Sword novel.
Careful, Paimon. Don't tell him anything else.
Ah, so you've already heard. To be honest, my works have drawn little interest in Liyue. However, the novels are selling quite well in Inazuma.
You know what? This is so perfect, actually. Shinjo gets to be an author.
Kelks is not only
Good
a
for
skilled
him.
artist, but he also carries out his craft with great alacrity. I heard that it took him merely a few hours to finish the illustrations for the latest chapter. But when I looked at the art, the brushwork did not even look the slightest bit rushed. His work is truly exquisite. Oh my, I was beginning to get carried away there. Let us depart, quickly now.
There are so many character combinations here that I really want to see interact now. Oh, I hope we get to see them.
Luckily, the idea
He's so excited.
Albedo managed to draw Shinjo's attention and keep the situation under wraps. Let's just hope we don't let anything slip while meeting Albedo.
We, Paimon?
Traveler, Paimon, how are you?
The meeting!
And who is this accompanying you?
I bet you have a guess.
You must be Kelks. It's a great pleasure to finally meet you. I am the author of A Legend of Sword,
Oh?
Forgive me. It's rude of me to introduce myself by my pen name when meeting in person. Please, call me Xingqiu.
And you may call me Albedo, then.
Oh my goodness.
No, that would be most improper.
Why not? Seeing as we're both friends of the Traveler,
Friends of
it'd be more
Chicken?
convenient for us to use our real names.
Also, you're basically co-workers.
We've already corresponded with each other many times before. In fact, I feel a bit self-conscious seeing you act so politely.
It's not just you, Albedo. We haven't seen Shinjo act this awkward before either.
It's a real eye-opener, that's for sure. I learned some new tips on manners today.
It's certainly not good taste for you two to be teasing me like that.
They have so much respect for each
By the
other.
way,
I love that.
We happened to find a story from the poem hunt competition at the docks. I heard that you are collecting them.
Pick it up, Albedo.
Poem hunt?
You can pick it up.
You know, that thing where we have to find pieces of paper with stories of the 5 Kasen? Venti found one, and then he was allowed to be a model for one of your portraits.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right.
Not the most graceful recovery, but we tried our
I understand the
best.
story now. Thank you. It's very helpful.
Do we get another animated cutscene?
Splendid. Though, I'm still piecing together the story myself. Would you kindly explain it to me in more detail?
Please do.
If all of you are free, why don't we discuss this over a meal?
Oh, and he's treating all of his models to
About that.
some sort of repayment.
Do you have other plans, Shinjo?
No, not at all. Speaking of dining, Shimura's unagi chasuke is quite delicious. Would you like to go there?
You've had some before?
Shimura's?
Impressive.
Unfortunately, today is a bit windy. How about Uyu Restaurant instead?
Oh, are their tastes
perfectly fine with
incompatible?
me. But
Oh, no,
I
okay.
must first unpack my luggage. Let's meet later at Uyu Restaurant.
Something didn't quite add up just now.
Indeed.
No way! acted well together.
That was quite mysterious. Xingqiu, what are you hiding?
Something we weren't supposed to?
No, Paimon, I'm not referring to us. Traveler, what are your thoughts?
Xingqiu is a little suspicious.
Xingqiu's suspicious? Hey, what are you two talking about?
I'm loving this
Paimon,
so much,
you
actually.
read the poem, right? Although it may seem confusing to Xingqiu on its own, what if we read it together with a previous poem we found?
Read them together? Let's see.
Are we going to get them both?
Lost
No, okay.
Aoi no Okina's poem in a drunken stupor. So, Aoi no Okina recovered the poem and gave it to some mysterious person. Huh? Wait a minute. Could today's story be hinting that the one who stole the latest copies of A Legend of Sword is Xingqiu himself? No way! That can't be right! Xingqiu only arrived in Inazuma this morning!
He didn't steal them, but he's able to recover them somehow?
That's precisely the point of suspicion. If Xingqiu had only just arrived in Inazuma...
Yeah, exactly.
How did he recommend Shimura's Chazuke?
Yeah, how has he had it before?
Moreover, he didn't raise any questions when I suggested another place because of the windy weather. This means he knows that Shimura's is an open-air restaurant.
Are you saying that Xingqiu has already been in Inazuma for
And that's why he's so tired.
pretending he just arrived?
Ho ho ho.
Yes, that is indeed my conclusion.
Oh, something interesting is
How
happening.
could Xingqiu be the book thief? His mission is to fight for justice, isn't it? There's no way he'd do something against his own ideals.
And his own book.
Calm down, Paimon. Even though this is the first time I've met Xingqiu in person, we've communicated via letters for some time now. I do have some understanding of his character. I think there must be some deeper motive at play here. The story also tells us that Aoi no Okina flees with a poem because of a threat.
Is he going to run away?
Could Xingqiu be in danger?
It's difficult to say at this point. But given that Uyu Restaurant is indoors, it'll be easy for us to detect anyone following or eavesdropping on us. I think it should be safe for us to talk there. I'll be
If he makes it
relying
to
on
the
your assistance
restaurant.
to get to the bottom of this matter.
Got it.
Good. Then let's head to Uyu Restaurant.
This is delightful. What are you up to, Xingqiu? Did he not make it? Uh-oh.
I don't see anyone suspicious around. It seems
Okay.
clear for the moment. Let's go inside and wait for Xingqiu.
We should go to the Outlanders Affairs agency and pick him up. Escort him here.
This whole thing's starting to make Paimon a little nervous. What do we do? And what do we talk about when Xingqiu gets here?
First, we must ascertain whether Xingqiu was already in Inazuma or not. If we can find evidence of him deceiving us, then we can use it as leverage to persuade him to tell us the truth. Since we're still waiting for him, why don't you go and chat with other guests in the restaurant and see if you can learn anything useful?
I don't think he's being threatened by anybody. I feel like he's probably trying to help somebody. Ooh, restaurant.
Any ideas?
New music.
I will try to break the ice by talking about our work on novels and illustrations.
Great idea.
If he really is hiding something, then he might feel even more nervous than we do. If we start by talking about our work creating novels, perhaps he will lower his guard.
Oh, come to think of it, Xingqiu mentioned that he'd like to thank you for finishing the illustrations on time. He said they looked amazing despite the time you had.
Is that so? That is also a very valuable clue.
Last phase of the Irodori Festival is when they release the all-new publications. The one I'm really looking forward to is A Legend of Sword.
That's right. A signed first edition is going to become quite the collectible. I've got to get my hands on a copy.
Is he worried that his
I've seen
writing
Jason's
isn't good
signature
enough?
before. His handwriting is super neat. He must be really diligent about his style.
He'll be there in person on the day of the release, so we'll get a good look at him then. I hear that he's actually pretty young.
Wait a minute, did you just hear that? Not only will Xingqiu be signing novels at the release, but his handwriting is super neat?
Hello there. What can I get for you?
Hi, do you have any special recommendations today?
Why, of course. I'd personally recommend our freshly caught seafood. It's been pouring these past few days, so the fishing boats haven't been able to sail at all. But the weather finally cleared up today, so we have some fresh catch.
So the weather at sea has been bad these past few days?
It sure has. A few guests from Liyue were just telling me that their boat was heaving and rolling all the way here. They couldn't do anything but sleep the entire trip.
Would make it a little bit difficult to read, don't you think?
This might be some useful information.
Xingqiu arrives shortly after, and everyone enjoys a leisurely meal.
Inazuman cuisine largely consists of fresh seafood, which is certainly to my liking.
Aw, Paimon's still not sitting.
We were worried you might not have an appetite because you didn't sleep well. Now's our chance. Let's talk to Xingqiu and see if he says anything useful. Maybe we could start by asking him about the journey.
Here we go. Talk about his thoughts regarding the journey, the book he read during the voyage. Talk about the scenery on the journey. Scenery on the journey.
There wasn't much to see. Just water all around, morning to night. The sheer monotony of the trip caused everyone to grow a little impatient.
I wonder how long the trip takes.
When the peak of Mount Yogo finally appeared in the distance as we approached the islands of Inazuma, everyone crowded the deck to have a look.
Which you can't do if you're in a storm.
The ship sailed
You
along
can't see
at
the
a
mountain,
crawling
probably.
pace. It took a whole day from the time we saw the mountain peak to the time we docked.
Paimon didn't catch anything suspicious so far.
No, there was something really suspicious.
Right! If it took an entire day to reach the docks, then it would have been pouring rain at the time they saw the top of the mountain.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to see it. They would have just seen a faint
A couple
glow.
of things from his account, but we still require more evidence. Let's discuss creating novels with Xingqiu.
Speaking of illustrations,
This is so much fun.
Albedo, I've long wished to express my sincerest gratitude for providing the illustrations in my novel. My novel didn't sell well in Liyue, so I must admit that I had some reservations regarding its potential. Yet you've consistently managed to select the most important scene of the chapter for your illustrations. This made me feel as though what I was trying to express could be understood after all.
We have a possible motive for him already, but it just does not align with his character
I took
at all.
some risks in the illustrations, so I'm feeling slightly uneasy myself.
Risks?
Light novel illustrations are typically centered around the characters, but this time, I adopted a different approach in the illustration for the last chapter.
Well, that scene was intended to depict the change in the world, so I thought it very fitting to draw only scenery.
Doesn't sound like anything suspicious has come up so far.
No, there was a crack in his alibi. My illustrations were sent for printing the moment they arrived in Inazuma. So, logically speaking, there's no way he could possibly know what the illustrations look like.
Indeed.
Xingqiu, we have something very important to ask you now.
Oh, he's going in for the kill.
Oh? Why the solemn looks all of a sudden?
Xingqiu, what's with the facade?
I'm afraid I don't follow.
We're your friends, aren't we?
Okazaki told us earlier that actually the weather at sea was very bad these last few days. So when you said that everyone came running to the deck to see Mount Yogo, that couldn't have happened.
Not unless you arrived earlier than the
On top
storm.
of that, the latest installment of A Legend of Sword will only be revealed at the Irodori festival. Even we, the creators, haven't received a sample copy. If that's the case, how could you know what my illustrations look like?
Well...
Oh?
Jig's up, Xingqiu. You were already in Inazuma before today, weren't you? Are you in some kind of danger but can't tell us the truth? Don't worry. The Traveler and Albedo are no pushovers. We can help you.
No, please. You misunderstand me.
What's going on?
I suppose my lack of sleep is inevitably taking its toll on my mind. I didn't notice for a moment that you were testing me at all.
I was surprised that we caught him.
I did in fact come to Inazuma early to handle some things. Let me consider how to explain this. Oh, this is most embarrassing.
It's okay. We won't judge.
Oh, well,
Indeed.
if this isn't a coincidence.
This isn't the
I
time.
didn't expect to see everyone here.
Huh? Tone-deaf Bard, what are you doing here?
Unless...
I heard that the owner of this establishment has some fine-aged wines. I didn't want to miss the opportunity to taste them.
Paimon knew you couldn't possibly be up to anything good.
Says who? In fact, I come as the
Oh,
bearer
no.
of good tidings. I
No.
just bumped into Kujo Sara a moment ago. She said that the Tenryou Commission has apprehended the criminal who stole all those copies of The
no.
Legend of Sword. You needn't worry about it any longer.
Have they found the copies,
criminal
though?
who stole a legend of sword?
Did I say something I shouldn't have?
Venti.
Oh no. The person they apprehended. Was it by chance an editor named Onodera?
Apologies, Kujo-Sara didn't mention a name. But I saw her taking someone toward Hanamizaka.
The editor, who was
Everyone,
acting a little
it's too late
worried
to
at the first
explain.
meeting.
We must make haste and rescue Onodera. Please, wait.
That's very in character with
Onodera
him.
is innocent.
Oh, so you must be the author of A Legend of Sword.
Oh, she knew who he was
Expect to
immediately.
see others tagging along with you.
Anyway, you mustn't take him away. I can explain everything.
No need to worry, Genyu. I've just explained everything to Madame Kujo, and Kuroda has testified for me.
Yes. In fact, we were just getting ready to leave.
To leave.
Phew.
Leave
What a
him alone, I
relief.
guess.
Wait a minute. Does everyone else here already know?
Oh, he's embarrassed. He's going to be embarrassed, isn't he?
Well, to be precise, we had dispatched 2 additional squads here.
2 more
in order to prevent
squads.
the suspect from escaping.
Oh no. Poor Xingqiu.
Xingqiu looks pretty flustered. What exactly is going on here?
I bet it has something to do with the signature.
Though it's most embarrassing, it appears quite a few people are aware of the situation now. There's no use keeping it a secret. In the end, I'm the one responsible for this whole predicament.
I'm surprised this thing is getting
No, Genyu.
resolved so quickly.
It's only
to
appropriate
be
that I
honest.
take responsibility for this. Everyone, please let me explain. For the Irodori Festival, I recommended the idea of selling newly released novels signed by the authors. Not only was this the first major project I was in charge of since joining the Yae publishing house, but Lady Yae also gave me a lot of support. However, I did not discuss our plans with the authors in advance. As a result, it caused a great deal of trouble for Genyu.
Yes, to be frank, calligraphy is not my strong point, so signing events are really not my forte.
Even though such an event will be difficult for Genyu, after telling him how important the plans were to me, he immediately boarded a ship to Inazuma to come up with a solution.
Were they going to fake the
So
signature?
these past few days, Genyu has been actively practicing his
Oh.
handwriting.
He's been practicing.
However,
That
it
seems
takes
much
time
more in
to
line with
sign
his
each book,
character.
and we realized the time we reserved for the signing was not nearly enough. So I came up with the idea of moving the new books from the warehouse to my place. That way, Genyu could use these few days to sign them all. I thought everything would work out without a hitch. I never expected that someone would immediately realize that the books were missing from the warehouse.
So it was one of the
To make things
employees.
worse, I was on vacation and staying with Genyu in my house these past few days. I had no idea that the situation had turned into such a
That's
huge
right, and they
mess.
couldn't contact him. Because the Miko gave him leave.
All of this happened because I wanted to prove myself through this event.
Onodera, I agreed to your proposal because I didn't want the readers to know of my unsightly handwriting. Also, I knew that Onodera had been misled by one of my prior signatures. At a
Oh.
previous event, the Yae publishing house had requested autographs of authors so that they could be put on display. I practiced tirelessly for an entire day to finally deliver a stylish and elegant signature for the event. But looking back on it now, I had dug myself into a hole by delivering that nice signature for the sake of my pride.
Hey, come on, you two. Loosen up a little. The theft was nothing more than a simple misunderstanding. Besides, everyone has something they do not wish others to see.
Oh, do they, Venti?
Yeah, that's right. All that matters is that Xingqiu and his books are okay.
That's true.
Onodera, I think you should explain the truth regarding the stolen books to the rest of the people on Rito.
Everyone? Does
Yes,
everyone know
I
about it now?
understand. I'll apologize to everyone.
Or maybe they just mean the other employees.
Be heading back to Rito as well. Let's
Festival
tag along.
employees. Publishing house employees.
Onodera, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be on leave these few days?
The mirroring poses. Onodera explains the situation to
I'm
the
very
editors.
sorry for all the trouble that I've caused.
I think they're just going to be relieved
Yes,
that they're
Onodera,
okay.
Why didn't you tell everyone earlier? If you had told us, we could have thought of some ways to help you.
Oh, that's nice.
That's right. We're a team, and we should be helping each other in tough situations like this.
It's a good
Let's leave the
response.
past behind us now. Our first priority is to help Genyu with his signatures. How is your progress so far?
My progress is not what I had hoped for. Even after working through the night these past few days, I've only finished perhaps 1/10 of the signatures.
Oh, no wonder Shincho looked so sleepy today.
I understand.
There's an easy
Murata,
solution to this
go back to the
possibly,
iPublishing House
but I
and get
don't think it would be
Aratani to
one
book
that
a room on the
Shincho
second
would
floor of the Uyu
enjoy.
restaurant. We'll be using it for Gen Yu's emergency calligraphy lessons.
Yes, Mr. Hirayama. It just so happens that my brother is a calligrapher. Should I ask him to lend his assistance
Oh, here
as
we
well?
go. Things are coming together
Yes,
now.
good idea. Ah, you've just reminded me. 2 calligraphers from Liyue arrived today. We've worked with them before, so I'll go and ask
Calligraphers.
them
Do I
to
know
help
any
out too.
calligraphers?
It seems I'm really in for it now.
Oh, good luck, Shincho.
No need to worry,
Your
Jinyu.
calligraphy
I'm
class
sure you
crash
can do it.
course.
Didn't you finish the last chapter of your novel in just 1 week's time?
Yes,
Really?
but writing novels and learning calligraphy
That's
are
impressive.
2 entirely different skills.
Even though Shincho still has to deal with his handwriting issue, Paimon somehow feels a little relieved now.
Yeah, it seems like things are gonna
I
work
always
out.
used to prefer working alone in my workshop.
There's a bunch of people supporting him.
I've come to realize that solving problems with others also has its merits.
We also owe a special ode of gratitude to the mysterious person who has been leaving important info for us along the way.
Oh, yeah, we still don't know who's been doing the
You
pages.
mean whoever left behind those stories about the 5 Kasen?
Yeah.
Pardon me, but what are you talking about?
Oh, we can tell him about the poetry hunt thing now.
Oh, right. We haven't had a chance to explain things to Shincho yet.
Because if it was Onodera who's leaving the pages, he would have known about
I
them.
see. It appears
Not
that
Shincho, but
Onodera and I
Onodera.
were spotted when we were moving the books.
Aha.
Albedo, may I ask you one thing? Are you able to include me in a portrait as well? Not only do I owe the successful resolution of today's incident to that story, but I also hope that I'll remember this lesson.
At least he's learning his lesson with grace.
No problem.
Maturity.
Considering the similarities between the portrait and the events that have taken place, your proposal is very reasonable.
Here we go. Do we get another one?
Yes, that figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry. He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akahito.
Interesting. Oh, is that the entire cutscene? Oh no, so short. But so beautiful.
Albedo really
These
is
are so
something.
good.
He finished the portrait of Aoi no Okina in no time at all.
It's so pretty.
Wonder how Shincho's
Whoever the artist is in real life, they're doing a great job.
Hey, do you think whoever left those stories for us could be hiding somewhere nearby?
It's a possibility. Who could be watching?
Hello? Mr. Storywriter? Are you here? Could you please help Shincho with something?
How do they know what's going on so
And the
well?
release of his new book is super important to him.
Could it be Yaimiko? Not really her style.
What's that sound?
Sounded like a blade. Metal, at least. Oh, it's a cat. Wonder if it could be a cat.
It was just a cat. Looks like we can't make them reveal themselves that
Oh, is this how
easily.
they introduce Kirara?
Well, let's go back and get some rest. We still have to go to the docks and
Who's
wait
there?
for
Who's
another
there?
ship tomorrow
Who's
morning.
there? Oh, somebody's there. I'm wondering if it's an NPC though. Okay, part 3.
It's already time for
Part
us to
3.
be at the
Okay.
docks.
So those pants that we saw, it looked like an NPC.
Arrival schedule says ship stopover 1 person. Does that mean we're only welcoming 1 guest today?
Sounds like it.
That figure on the wharf.
Kazuha?
Looks like Kazuha.
Oh my god, wow, he came back. For a festival. He's making great
Greetings,
strides in
traveler
his...
in Paimon. I heard there would be
his
guides
healing,
for
I
the
guess.
Irodori festival, but I didn't expect it would be you two.
I didn't expect you would be the guest.
We didn't expect to see you either. Returning as a guest for the Irodori festival, no doubt.
I was a little surprised myself when I received the invitation. But after wandering the outside world for so long, it's good to have an opportunity to return to my homeland and pay respects to my old friends.
Oh, that does make
Kazuha,
sense.
when we saw you in the distance just now, you seemed to be looking for something. What happened?
Did a page blow into the sea?
Ah, yes. You see, when I came off the boat with everyone just now, I suddenly heard light footsteps around me.
Oh yeah, he would hear them,
They
wouldn't
were
he?
not footsteps of a regular passenger. But by the time I turned around, the person had already disappeared. I only heard a splash come from below the pier.
Whoever this is,
even though I didn't
I'm
manage
so
to catch a
curious about
glimpse
their
of them,
motives.
I found this strange piece of paper by my feet.
Are they just having fun?
Oh, does the paper happen to have a poem written on it?
Are they trying to stir up interest in the
How did you know?
poets? You'll never guess, Kazuha. You tell Kazuha all that's happened over the last few days.
Fascinating. It's almost hard to believe such things could happen.
Kazuha, can you show us that piece of paper?
Sure. Here it is. Please, have a look.
Just noticed his shoulder thing, it's just like Kamisato Ayato's. Different colors though. The 5 Kasen Splendor, Akihito. Oh, and of course he gets the Akihito one. Long have I been famed, and since my youth I had great ambition. I stamped every new verse with the scarlet seal, and thus was I known to all. But last year, when we presented our verses, mine was found to be taken from poets past. For the theft and deception I was banished into the wilderness. The five radiant lights never shall be again. Ah, how the tides do shift. Accused of plagiarism, I see. Quite the scandal in presenting poets, or poetry, the Shogun.
With a reference to Akihito. And sure enough, this is a story about him. Story this time basically says that Akihito got his name from his love of red seals. However, the Shogun discovered that he had committed plagiarism, and he was soon exiled. Well, if Paimon were to rate today's story, it sounds pretty unfortunate.
So we have Shingsho for blue. Well, the other stories weren't much better either.
I don't think there's anything
Fancy for
particularly
green,
wrong with this story.
Kazuha for red.
I too was once wanted as a criminal by the Shogunate.
He seems proud of that.
I'm not all that different from Akihito mentioned in this story.
You don't say.
The story, Akihito was exiled by the Shogun because of his wrongdoings. You did nothing wrong, Kazuha. Huh? Traveler, what are you thinking about?
The seal mentioned in the story maybe can help
By the
Shingsho.
way,
Oh, they can make a
mentioned that
a
your
seal of
friend
their
has been
signature.
struggling because he's unable to sign his name quickly.
Oh, that's
right?
super cool.
In Liyue and Inazuma, there is a saying, that which has been stamped has also been signed.
Can do a stamp.
Perhaps using a seal could be a feasible solution.
It's a great idea.
While sailing at sea, I sometimes carve things to pass the time. If you wish to create a stamp for his seal, I might be able to help.
And now you know how to carve things too. Oh.
Wow,
Man of many talents.
Quick, let's go tell Albedo! Albedo, we figured out a way to help Shincho!
This is a combination of characters I never thought I'd ever see.
Interesting.
Albedo
the
and
story of the
Kazuha.
5 Kasen appears again, and with a timely solution. A stamped seal, huh? Let me think. Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Shingsho won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore. However,
since
Shingsho's signature has been previously revealed to the readers, it would seem insincere if he only used the stamped seal for his new books. But I have another idea. Using a seal is a part of it, of course. Let's go to Ouya restaurant now to discuss my idea with everyone.
Curious.
Yes, that's it, Genyu.
Oh my goodness.
The writing has greatly improved today, which means yesterday's intensive training was effective.
The calligraphy classes have been intense, it seems.
I can't do it anymore. My hands are so sore that I can't even move them anymore. I should have known better than to read novels during calligraphy class.
You just had a 10-minute break. Come on, you can do this.
When it comes to pushing a deadline, there's no one more brutal than Mr. Hirayama.
It's like competitive calligraphy.
No wonder Lady Yai would always send the
Very
editorial
intense.
director to handle troublesome authors.
Whoa, this is getting scary.
Look at all the books.
It hasn't even
Look at
been
the
that long
characters
and
on them.
Shincho's already zombified.
Oh, is that the blue person up from the poster?
Mr.
Oh, they're
Hirayama,
characters from his
We
book.
found a solution that might just solve our dilemma. In both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. If we use a stamp to leave the author's seal on the books, then we could make the signature process a lot easier. Of course, a seal on its own is not enough. So, I propose that each signature consists of 2 parts.
What, a seal and a drawing?
First, we'll use a personalized
Look
seal.
at them, they look so
We can
cool!
simply carve one using Jinyu's signature as the design.
Wow.
In addition, I'll also design a simple but elegant pattern that's easy for Jinyu to write. That way, he will only need to draw a simple pattern on each book.
Let me think. All right, I think that would work. Not only does it still involve the author's own handwriting, but the result should be very beautiful as well.
So, what you mean to say is, I've been saved from this predicament?
He's so happy.
Mr. Hirayama, it suddenly occurred to me that the reason we gave up on live book signings previously was because it would take too long for the author to sign each book.
Yeah, usually they pre-sign.
But if we
Nowadays.
adopted Calx's proposed method, we might have enough time to do signatures at the live event.
Oh, and so...
And if all the authors signed their books in the same fashion, then Jinyu's signature wouldn't look out of place.
And so the readers would feel better because they're getting an in-person
I would certainly
signing.
be happy to design signatures for the other authors as well.
But the time wouldn't be too
Yes.
long.
And you may leave carving the stamps to me.
And so they would understand the use
In
of the
that
stamps.
case, I shall contact
Hopefully.
the other 2 authors participating in the new release event.
Shortly after, the 2 other authors arrived.
It
Do we
is
know
a
them?
great honor to use a
NPCs.
signature
Hi.
designed by Calx.
Hi, Satomi. Nice to meet you.
My pen name is quite complicated and
my.
isn't suitable for signing events. However, if we implement this new format, then it'll be a dream come true for me as well.
Kata no Koji Kenza Boru?
Everyone's on board with the idea.
I'm sorry to have kept you busy for so
Yay,
long.
it works for
Jinyu.
everybody.
Please, take the next few days to have a good rest. We'll handle everything from here. The books that Jinyu already signed can be used as special prizes in future events held by the I Publishing House.
We did it. The event is saved.
Nice. Why does it feel like
Thanks
it's not
to
over
everyone's
yet?
efforts, Onodera and I are finally free of that mess.
That's right! You're finally free, Xingqiu! Maybe you should step outside for some fresh air.
Well, he still needs to learn his illustration.
We still have some time to burn. Where should we go next?
When's our next guest arriving? Tomorrow? Hi, Venti. Ayaka!
There you are.
Did not expect to see these 2 together either. Such unusual combinations. I love it.
Ayaka! And Venti! That's an interesting combo.
They are very
Just
different
going to the
personalities,
festival
but
venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson.
I feel like
when I
Venti's free
found
spirit
a
would be good for her.
strange piece of paper on a flower stand.
Yes, next
This
one.
bar just happened to be close by at the time. He informed me that you've also found similar papers recently. As such, we came together to find you 2.
But
Convenient that you were
found
there,
isn't
Venti.
quite the same as the ones we found before.
Oh?
Here's the paper. Please have a look.
Don't mind if I do. Ooh, the 5 cause and splendor. Sume Zome. I submerged the verses into clear water, and the truth did emerge. Okay, so we need to put the papers into water? Sounds like a plan.
Huh. All the poems we found before were roughly the same length. But this one is only 2 lines.
And even though there are only 2 short sentences, neither of them are next to the title or centered on the page.
Water, water.
The position of the writing seems to indicate that there is other content written on this paper besides these 2 lines.
If we take the poem literally, it reads, "Dip this paper in water and see the truth naturally appear."
And you have a
Speaking of
hydrovision, don't you?
I have an ancient text at home, specializing in ancient and exotic stories. It mentions a special ink that will show itself when wet and disappear when it's dry.
So, shall we give it a whirl? It just so happens that there's a pond nearby.
That works too. You carefully dip the paper into the water.
Wow, look! It's really working! More words have appeared on the paper!
Yay!
Climb on, see what it says.
I feel like somebody's really setting up a game for us. Going over his poetry, I found that the plagiarized piece did not have his scarlet seal. I submerged the verses into clearer water, and the truth did emerge. The true verses were not washed away, but the text of that despicable crime faded. Aoi no Okina passed me by, just as he was writing a verse for Akihito. One storm had yet to settle, and it was already time to write new poems. I see he was framed.
The story says that after Sumizomi got the collection of poems from Akihito and put them into a stream of water,
Look at all these
the
characters.
plagiarized words in the poem became blurry. Huh?
It's so cool to see us in a group of people.
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, handwritten text could easily become smudged in books when exposed to moisture. To ensure the text lasted longer, they'd either write using a special ink or coat the paper's surface with a waterproof coating once the writing was finished. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious to produce, and the waterproof coating could also prove just as difficult. However, since Akihito's poetry collection was an important gift to be presented to the Shogun, surely one of those two methods was used to protect it.
Our culture expert weighing in.
But as for the plagiarized poems,
very cool.
Not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when exposed to liquid.
But this poem wasn't written by Akihito. It was added later by someone else.
Akihito didn't plagiarize his work. He was set up.
Exactly.
Yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizome's story is trying to convey.
I love how everyone is so
Although
invested in this now.
The story is saddening. I've decided on the subjects to use for Akihito and Sumizome's portraits.
Oh,
Kazuma,
Ayaka?
Ayaka. Would you be willing to be the models for my paintings?
Albedo, how do you even know her name?
Delighted.
I guess they did introductions on the way over.
There you go. The next two portraits should be ready in no time.
Does that mean we'll have two blue people, though?
And now that all four stories have all been
I
collected,
guess Ayaka's more
the story
white
of the
with her
five
hair.
Kasen is now fully completed.
And just like in the poems, that final person is not mentioned. What do you hear that final
Long
person?
ago,
Ooh,
Inazuma had 5 legendary poets. People bestowed upon them the title of the 5 Kasen.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku
The whole story,
and presented
isn't
the
it?
Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry.
So this is the same person who framed
individual's true intentions.
Akihito?
All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akihito.
Akihito had once belonged to the 5 Kasen.
Adorable.
Each poem he composed,
Adorable.
he marked with a scarlet red seal, hence the Aka in his name. Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet one of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be plagiarized. Akihito was exiled for his crimes, and only 4 of the 5 Kasen remained.
Sumizome went over Akihito's poems and
So
noticed that the
pretty.
plagiarized poem lacked his seal. She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby, and only on the plagiarized poem did the ink
So
run.
elegant.
Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then recorded in a poem.
And that was the one that was stolen?
Thus transpired the events of Suiko's poetry submission, and this is where the story comes to an end.
So we still don't know who framed Akihito and who forced Aoi no Okina to give them his poem. And we didn't hear anything about the 5th poet. Do you think it's the 5th poet? Out of some sort of jealousy? No, I don't want to. I want to believe that they're friends. Soon after, Albedo completes the 2 portraits. Let's see. So elegant. Are we really solving a 100-year-old mystery right now? Hundreds, possibly. And look, it doesn't have a seal. Paimon, what's wrong? You seem upset.
Yeah. Ever since we completed the story of the 5 Kasen, there's still one thing Paimon hasn't been able to figure out.
What is it?
One of the 5 Kasen is called
Yes.
Kuronushi, right?
Asking the questions I want to hear, Paimon. Yes, yes, they are.
How could the story of the 5 Kasen finish without him appearing at all?
Oh! Have you really not noticed?
Be nice, Venti.
Not noticed what? This is no time to be playing games, Tone Deaf Bard!
Is he indeed the thief?
What he means is that the story of Kuronushi was already embedded within the 4 poems.
Huh? Really?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina wrote after seeing Sumizome rinsing the poetry collection. An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl washing Akahito's poetry collection in a stream. Even Aoi no Okina couldn't figure out the meaning behind Sumizome's actions. He was simply reminiscing and thinking about his old acquaintances. However, for the perpetrator who framed Akahito, it was completely obvious. He was worried that if this poem was seen by the Shogun, then the Shogun could discover the truth behind the plagiarism incident. If that happened, then he'd be finished. So, in desperation, he threatened Aoi no Okina to make him tear out this poem.
Which means the one who threatened Aoi no Okina is the same person that framed Akahito.
Yes, the culprit is none other
What?
than Kuronishi. Yep. Surprise!
Though there are only 4 poems, they still managed to tell the complete story of all 5 Kasen.
And for their crimes,
Since the Shogun
Kuronishi is
mentioned in the
excluded
poems
from the
is certainly
portraits.
not the one of the 5 Kasen. The
wonder
only
why they did it,
character
though.
left is the mysterious one with an unknown identity.
Oh, okay. Paimon is finally starting to get it now.
However, this also brings something else to mind.
What's that?
The story of the 5 Kasen has more or less reflected everything that's been happening around us lately. Which begs the question, is there a Kuronushi in our world as well?
A Kuronushi? In our world?
One of the editors, Albedo,
Speaking
ourselves.
of which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha has come up with anything.
Oh, right! Kazuha! He's been pretty quiet this whole time. Let's ask him.
What are you thinking, Kazuha?
Are you okay? You've been standing in front of this blank canvas for a while, and you don't look so good.
Apologies for making a wild assumption, but has the story of the 5 Kasen
That girl in the
reminded
background
you of
has fox ears. Is she a fox guide?
Yes. A few
That's pretty
things
cool.
did come to mind, actually. However, they were nothing more than some past incidents regarding my family.
Oh?
I don't mind sharing the stories, but I'd prefer not to bring you any more trouble.
Oh no, bring it.
Hey,
You have to tell us now.
Kazuha. You can always tell us whatever's on your mind.
Kaidehara, please forgive my
Ooh.
assumption, but perhaps you were thinking of the Raiden Gokuden?
The
what now?
Gokuden? What's that?
Well,
It
Raiden is
appears that
Raiden.
Miss Kamisato and I were thinking of the same thing. But it also has much to do with the Yashiro Commission. It would be improper to speak of it here without the consent of Miss Kamisato.
It's fine. Those of us here are all trustworthy, so there isn't any harm in it.
You're so quick to trust people, Ayaka.
This matter is somewhat
just met these
complicated and
guys.
may be difficult to explain. Let me start with the Raiden Gokuden. As you all know, the Yashiro Commission's primary purpose is managing ceremonial and cultural affairs, and Inazuma's art of forging swords is a very important part of our culture.
Okay.
The Raiden Gokuden were once the top 5 schools of the forging art in Inazuma. Although these families were swordsmiths by craft, they also held many important positions in the Yashiro Commission. Unfortunately, of the 5, only the
remember
Aminuma art
this.
still maintains its artisan lineage. The descendants of the Ishin art are also still alive, but the craft has been lost to time.
We learned about this from
The
talking to the
descendants
blacksmith,
of the
right?
Ishin art are none other than the Kaidehara family.
Oh.
Whoa! We knew Kazuha came from a noble family, but we had no idea about his connection to the Yashiro Commission and sword making.
So just like the 5 Kasen, there were
but
once
that's all
5 and
part of
there's
the past
now
now.
1
the
or
Ishin
none.
art was lost with my great-grandfather's generation. My grandfather was dissatisfied with my great-grandfather's lack of effort. When he was young, my grandfather traveled all over Tevat to find a way to revive the family business. But it was to no avail. And in my generation, our last remaining family property was lost as well.
I heard my elder brother mention that the decline of the Raiden Gokuden happened very rapidly.
Was there
In the
sabotage
span of
involved,
a
just
few
like with the
decades,
poems?
3 of the families suffered various misfortunes and disappeared completely. Later, there was speculation that all of these misfortunes stemmed from some background machinations. meaning that someone wanted to wipe out the Raiden Gokuden.
Oh, that's so interesting.
However, since not every family of the Raiden Gokuden came to ruin, such explanations were treated as nothing more than a conspiracy theory.
Indeed.
That is so curious.
I've also believed such ideas were just theories and rumors.
Even you, Kazuha.
However, I know that a major incident happened to my great-grandfather when he was young. Not only did it affect the Kaedahara clan, but it nearly jeopardized the Kamisato clan's position in the Yashiro Commission as well. After reading the story of the 5 Kasen, I can't help but feel like it's pointing me toward the truth behind that incident.
Aren't we also waiting on one more guest?
What happened to your great-grandfather, Kazuha?
Yes, tell us.
I still can't say. I need to speak with someone to verify the details. Let's meet here again at noon tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so
I will tell you everything I know then.
I was wondering what they would do because the poetry story... Wait, let's get the next one ready. I was wondering what they would do because the poetry issue got wrapped up... Or, not the poetry issue, but the book issue, the book theft, had been wrapped up so quickly, in a way, that I was wondering, what would they do for the rest of the story? But I see.
He would wait for us at the 5 Kasen Plaza today. Let's go find him there.
The palace dyed in
here.
black.
It appears everyone has arrived.
How did your investigation go, Kazuha?
Last night, I visited a former servant who once worked for my family. I was able to learn the entirety of what happened all those years ago.
Helpful.
In my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin art was tasked with forging an important Goshinto according to an ancient forging diagram. Though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced, the process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was forged was defective.
Sounds like sabotage.
When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished, so the craftsmen all fled and hid for fear of punishment.
Oh dear.
The Kaedahara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan eventually tracked down the craftsmen near the seaside. However, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the end they were unable to prevent them from escaping by sea.
It's intense.
The Kaedahara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and the family gradually fell into decline. Moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which combined with his advanced age caused him to pass away shortly thereafter.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamisato clan leaderless. Treacherous people took advantage of the situation and put the family's status in the Yashiro Commission at jeopardy.
Seems like they were able to recover.
The incident had profound effects. Even after the position as head of the clan was passed to my father, the Kamisato clan still wasn't able to regain its prior reputation.
I see.
But, thanks to my brother, everything is getting better now.
The
I wonder,
failure to forge the blade was
he might be
ultimately
targeted if
attributed
somebody
to a lack
still
of
wants
required
this to
skill
happen.
and finesse. The Kaedahara clan and the Yashiro Commission always believed that was the case. However, the story of the 5 Kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack of skill, but rather, the diagram had been tampered with by someone. Miss Kamisato, I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission has still kept the diagram ever since the failed forging all those years ago. Might I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes, I understand. I will go back and search for the diagram. Please come meet me at the Kamisato estate later.
This is so cool.
Everyone, I've managed to find the old diagram.
And you have a bowl of water with you.
Though the diagram is well preserved, you can still tell that it's seen at least 3 or 4 centuries of history.
Wow.
Whoa, that's pretty old. Is it still possible to find any evidence of tampering?
You put it in the water, it might dissolve.
At this point, we can only try our luck and see how we fare.
They immerse the diagram into a basin of water, and after a short while... Oh, ha! Little lecture symbol there. We got some writing. Sword. More lecture symbols. Very pretty. Purple. I like the purple.
Although the effect is not too obvious, you can still see that some words have now started to smudge.
Aha.
Kazuha, this is clear evidence that this chart was indeed tampered with. Someone framed the Kaedehara clan all those years ago.
Wow.
I see. But I fear that I've discovered this secret too late. When my grandfather was young, he proposed reviving the Ishin art many times to my great-grandfather. But my grandfather was only scolded for being too foolhardy. Yesterday, the former family servant said that my great-grandfather even went to the Yashiro Commission to request that diagram from the head of the Kamisato clan. He then showed that diagram to my grandfather and asked him and his subordinates to try to forge the sword. Sure enough, my grandfather also failed. My great-grandfather then told him, "If you can't find the secret within, then the Ishin art deserves to fade from the world." My grandfather left Inazuma in a rage after hearing those words. He didn't ever see my great-grandfather again, even till the day of his passing.
Wow.
Looking back at it now, the argument between the two of them was simply meaningless.
Oh, Kazuha.
I heard that your great-grandfather was very industrious when he was young, but later in life, he no longer bothered with the forging arts. It appears that his failure took quite a toll on him.
Kazuha, did your great-grandfather really say, "If you can't find the secret within"?
Ooh.
Did he use those exact words?
Yes. The servant said that he personally heard those words, and still remembers them very clearly. My grandfather was so angry at the time that he smashed my great-grandfather's cherished bonsai tree.
Wait, Albedo, are you trying to say...
It appears that you understand my meaning. Kazuha, if your great-grandfather thought that the Ishin art lacked finesse, then after witnessing his son's failure, wouldn't he have said something more along the lines of, "Your skills aren't sufficient"? But instead he said, "If you can't find the secret within." Don't you find that a little strange?
It sounded like he knew.
Huh? Oh. So you're saying my great-grandfather may have very well known that the failure was due to someone's tampering?
Yes. The current evidence suggests that is highly likely.
Huh.
I apologize, but would you all please accompany me to the Tenryou Commission? After I became a wanted criminal, the Tenryou Commission seized my family's last remaining estate, which contained all of my family's old belongings. I want to inquire about the whereabouts of those belongings. If I can find them, we might be able to get some clues.
All right, let's get moving.
That's pretty cool. He's just gonna walk right up to the Tenryou Commission. With a bunch of backup, but it's quite bold.
Here? Did something happen on Rito?
Nothing's happened, Sarah. We're just here to talk about something, or ask about something.
Sarah. Perhaps you still remember me.
I feel like she's not going to like him.
Yes, I do. You're Kaedehara Kazuha, a wanted
But she's
criminal
still very
during
professional.
the Vision Hunt decree. However, your arrest warrant has since been repealed.
Sarah, we'd like to ask about the Kaedehara clan's property that was seized by the Tenryou Commission. Do you know where all their belongings are now?
Yes, the items seized at that time are currently stored in the warehouse next to the police station. Since Kaedehara has come back to Inazuma, those items should be returned to their rightful owner.
They're going to return them?
I'm afraid you misunderstand. I'm not here to reclaim those belongings. I just want to investigate them for a personal matter.
I see. All right, I'll inform the police station. They'll take you into the warehouse.
Thank you, Sarah. Oh.
Kaedehara, about the Vision Hunt decree.
Oh?
That's all in the past now, Kujo-Sara. There's no need to mention it again. I know you've also had your own convictions and struggles.
Wow. Very level-headed response.
May I ask something of you?
Yes? What is it?
Currently, I have no plans to stay in Inazuma. As a result, those items from my family's estate are of no use to me. Madam Kujo, I believe you are a person of integrity. After our investigation is over, I'd like to ask if you can handle those belongings for me. Please, sell them, and use the money to help the poor.
All right, I understand. I'll be sure to take care of it.
Ah, you must be here to investigate the Kaedehara clan's belongings.
So heroic of
Madame Kuja has
Kazuha.
already informed
It's
me of
almost
the
hard-
situation. Please, come this way.
It's almost hard to believe. Not in that it's inconsistent with his character, but just like, wow.
Unfortunately, the items are scattered throughout in order to save space. My deepest apologies.
Ooh, dungeon time? Investigating
However,
during a
clearly
dungeon
marked the
time?
corresponding items, so they shouldn't be too difficult to find. I'll be waiting for you at the door. Please, come see me if you require any assistance.
Kazuha, since the items are scattered throughout the building, I propose we split up and look for clues.
Yes, sounds like a plan. Thanks for your help, everyone.
Investigation time. Let's investigate. Ayaka, how's it going?
Oh, it's you. I'm currently investigating the sword rack.
Oh, since the Kaedehara clan was a family of renowned swordsmiths, then this blade should be super valuable, right? Maybe it's a treasure of the Ishin art!
I'm afraid not. Although the sword rack is made of fine wood, the swords placed here appear to be quite ordinary. Due to the dire financial situation of the late Kaedehara clan, everything of value has probably been sold off already. The blade on the sword hasn't been sharpened, but there are many signs of use on the hilt. Perhaps Kaedehara used it for training as a child.
Let Paimon see! Oh, there seems to be a couple uneven characters etched into the
Oh,
scabbard. Kazuha. Wow, so it really was Kazuha's!
That's adorable.
Paimon can imagine what Kazuha was like as a kid.
I will continue investigating here and call you if I find anything interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Jincho?
I wonder what his reaction would be if
I
he saw
found
it.
quite the pile of old books.
Of course he did.
These books here are all related to smelting steel, and these are about the process of forging blades. This pile over here is all about plants and flowers.
The books about plants and flowers must have belonged to Kazuha's great-grandfather.
Could there be any
I
clues in the
skimmed through
books?
them just now, but I didn't find anything particularly worth noting. I shall take a closer look and let you know if I find anything.
There must be some around here somewhere.
What are you looking for,
Do you
Vente?
see all these pots here? Some of them are bound to have liquor inside, right?
Are you not focused on the task, Venti?
Trying hard to help, and you're over here looking for a drink!
I merely jest, of course. Come on, we're close to uncovering the truth now. Why do you look so worried?
I keep thinking about that one time he said that he knows all the stories ever.
Kazuha told Sarah to sell all these
And I just can't help but feel that he knows how this is going to end.
What if we don't end up finding anything today? Then wouldn't Kazuha lose the chance of finding out what really happened all those years ago? You know, just saying.
I know you are worried about Kazuha, but if you ask me, he is stronger than you think.
Venti has adopted
made such a
Kazuha so
request to
quickly.
Sarah, that indicates he's already made his choice. Whether we find out the truth or not today, or whatever it turns out to be, he's ready to accept it.
Is this your Archon's intuition
Not
speaking?
intuition. Rather, I've lived for a long time now, so you could say I have some experience in reading people. Leave the things here to me. You two can look around elsewhere.
Okay, Venti.
Oh, it's you.
Hello.
Unfortunately, I have yet to find anything of value here.
A beautiful screen, though.
Whoa, this folding screen looks pretty old, though.
Yes, perhaps if it were better maintained, then it could fetch a decent price. However, I doubt it could be sold in its current condition. I was taking a closer look just now and noticed a large piece of dirt caught in the fabric fibers on the back side.
Oh,
The
make sure it's
soil is
dirt.
deeply embedded into the cloth.
Okay.
That means a great deal of force was used when the dirt was lodged into the cloth. It's likely that this patch of dirt is from the very flower pot thrown by Kazuha's grandfather.
Is that an important discovery?
Because this is not what we're looking for now. Let me think. If I wanted to leave a message behind, I would probably choose to leave it on something a little more special.
Albedo seems to be thinking pretty hard. We better not bother him.
Of course it's going to be Kazuha who finds the thing,
Everyone,
right?
I've found something that you should all have a look at.
Perfect.
Oh, seems Kazuha discovered something. Let's go see what he's got.
Delightful.
This flower pot was in my house for a long time.
Oh, it's a bonsai tree.
I heard that it was left behind by my great-grandfather.
Yeah, the plants seem to have been dead for a while now.
Oh dear.
Well, after my great-grandfather stopped studying the forging arts, he picked
The
up the
secret
hobby of
inside,
keeping bonsai plants.
and he threw a plant.
Most of his prized plants were given to others once he became seriously ill.
Could it be in there?
But he specifically left behind this dead plant at the time, and even instructed my grandfather not to throw it away in his will.
Do you think the secrets of the Ishin art are in there?
My grandfather deeply regretted that he never managed to reconcile with my great-grandfather, so he left the plant exactly as it was. But now that I think
let's dig it up.
My great-grandfather could very well have left it behind for other reasons.
Now that you mention it, this flower pot is kinda suspicious.
Suspicious flower pot.
Yes. Let's take a closer look, shall we?
They find a hidden compartment at the bottom of the flower pot. You don't say.
Something. It's only a bunch of blank paper.
Not for long.
Do you think someone already discovered the compartment and swapped the contents?
No, I do not think that is the case here. See the paper? It's quite yellowed, which means it's very old.
Maybe we need to try using water again.
You mean to say that these sheets have been written with special ink, like that which Miss Kamisato found before?
If
Yes,
they keep secrets,
I agree with this hypothesis.
they could very well have been.
Let's give it a dunk then.
There is a pond outside the police station. I'll use the water there.
You go with Kazuha to the pond. Little Hydra symbol in the bottom right seems quite fitting. How much do you want to bet it's the secrets of the Ishin art? Or it's going to be an account of somebody who sabotaged the thing, or somebody who saw somebody sabotage the thing, or maybe the great-grandfather sabotaged the thing himself because of something else, some other reason.
How did it go? Those weren't just plain old sheets of paper, were they?
Just as everyone guessed, after I sprinkled some water onto the paper,
Hey, little
writing
fox.
did indeed begin to appear on it. It is a letter written by my great-grandfather.
What does he say?
What does the letter say?
Is it something you can share with us?
It is. I'll tell you what my great-grandfather knew at the time, but before that, I wish to take you somewhere. Everyone, please follow me.
His old estate? The old smithing place?
Kaidehara, why did you lead us to this beach?
Is this place related to
It
the
is.
contents of the letter?
In fact, my great-grandfather and the
Yeah, the
head
place
of the
where the
Kamisato
smiths
clan
tried to
tracked
flee,
the
right?
fleeing swordsmiths to
Yeah.
this very location. Our hypothesis was correct. My great-grandfather was well aware of the truth behind the defective blades. And it was right here
Ooh.
where they encountered the culprit who framed the Kaidehara clan and the Raiden Gokaden. It reads,
Did they let them get away
to
with
whoever reads this letter, I, Kaidehara Yoshinori, have been held to a certain secret throughout my entire life.
it? How mysterious.
I don't have much longer in this world, and after much consideration, I finally decided to disclose the matter. All those years ago, when I was pursuing the swordsmiths alongside Commissioner Kamisato of the Yashiro Commission,
Flashback? Flashback?
I was not injured by one of the fleeing smiths. Rather,
It was night, and after the clues led us down to
Ooh.
shore, I waited for the culprits to show themselves. However, there were no swordsmiths in sight, only a single eccentric stranger.
Oh, are the swordsmiths
This
okay?
stranger claimed to be the one
Did
behind
they
the
escape? Did they
failed
get killed?
forgings, and said that he had been patiently waiting for us. He then threatened to destroy the Raiden Gokaden.
Wait,
That
wait.
person was of able body, and in a blink of an eye, myself and the accompanying samurai had been defeated.
Wait, the
Commissioner
outfit.
Kamisato was severely wounded, and I barely escaped death myself. My hat had fortunately blunted a blow to my head. The
Wait, I'm too excited. I'm not paying
unusual
attention to
stranger
what
could have
what
easily
they're saying.
claimed my life at that moment. But After noticing my appearance, he stopped his attacks and sternly asked if I had any connection with the name Niwa.
Niwa?
I answered that it was my father's surname, and after my father disappeared, I was adopted by the Kaedahara family.
Oh.
Upon hearing my answer, the stranger paused. After a long silence, he suddenly said,
"What?
Tell her this.
Her?
My name is Kunikuzushi." He then turned and left.
Is that your name? Her? Who's her? The Shogun? Was he doing all this to get her attention? No.
Wow. So that's what really happened.
Are the swordsmiths okay though? Did he kill them all? Did he let them escape?
Yes. My great-grandfather and the head of the
This got
Kamisato
very
clan
interesting.
escaped from death and learned that the forging diagram had been tampered with by Kunikuzushi.
And he only let him
Due to
go
the
because he
encounter,
was related
the
to
head of the
Niwa.
Kamisato clan was worried that my great-grandfather would be falsely accused of being involved with the perpetrator. So even on his deathbed, the master
Because
of
he
the
let him
Kamisato
live.
clan cautioned my great-grandfather to never speak of what happened. Because the perpetrator said he would destroy the Raiden Gokaden. My great-grandfather worried that the perpetrator would still return for vengeance.
Yeah.
So, to protect his loved ones, he closed the family business. He said,
Oh, wow.
As the leader of the Kaedahara clan, I am deeply ashamed to witness the decline of the Ishin art. But as a father, it is my
Aw.
priority to ensure the safety of my children.
So all these harsh words he
and
said were
grandchildren.
because he was worried about his son's well-being.
Yes, that's right. If my grandpa had somehow discovered the secret behind the tampered diagram all those years ago, perhaps my great-grandfather would have told him the truth. Unfortunately, he failed to catch any of the hints in my great-grandfather's words. Miss Kamisato, it appears you were unaware of the happenings that my great-grandfather described here. What are your thoughts?
This event is really giving me
I suppose
everything.
the reason the head of the
Amazing.
Kamisato house never spoke of this to the family was due to similar safety concerns. If the perpetrator
yes,
was
you guys might get
capable of
targeted
tampering with
again.
even the Shogun's diagrams, and could single-handedly defeat many men, then he is not an ordinary enemy.
What was the name?
I will discuss
Kunikuzushi?
this matter with Brother shortly, and investigate the identity behind the one called Kunikuzushi.
Kuzushi.
Rest assured, we will act cautiously.
How are you feeling, Kazuha?
To be honest, as I read the letter, I felt much turbulence in my heart. But now I've managed to calm myself.
Oh?
My great-grandfather said in the letter that he did not wish his descendants to blindly seek revenge and be deceived by things of the past. Though he was in a tight situation when he wrote these words, I feel like they are still valid nonetheless. I think what's most important for each person is not the past, but the present. Even though we must
And
carry
the
the
music
burdens
kicks
from the
in.
past, there are also things we wish to
Let me
strive
write
for.
that down.
Therefore, knowing the truth behind what happened is enough for me. I will live on just as my great-grandfather had hoped. That being said, if the enemy from all those years ago is still lurking and plotting to stir up more trouble, then I definitely won't turn a blind eye. These are simply insights I've gathered from all that I've experienced. Thank you all for accompanying me in my search for the truth behind that incident.
Great! Now that we're done here, let's head back to Rito.
I have a new theory. I have a new very interesting... Well, okay, it's very interesting to me. Should I talk about it now or at the end?
Not only will there be Shincho's signing
At the
event,
end.
but Albedo's painting of Kuranushi will also be unveiled.
Oh, so you did draw one. You did paint one.
Through the festival venue. Maybe we'll find
Oh.
everyone there.
Hello, traveler.
A little guy floating.
Albedo,
I can't get over chicken.
the portrait of Kuranushi all covered up. Paimon wants to see what your Kuranushi portrait looks like.
It hasn't been revealed yet, Paimon.
Don't worry. The unveiling ceremony will be starting shortly. You'll see what it looks like then.
Will we get a final
I
cutscene?
will say that I'm most satisfied with this particular work. I even made a special trip to see someone in order to complete it.
Oh?
They gave me some very valuable suggestions.
Sounds pretty suspicious if you ask me.
Is that so? Anyway.
Who do you think
there
he
is still
based it
time
off
before the
of?
ceremony. You may have a look around the venue first.
To be honest,
hello
my guess would
everyone.
be the Shogun, but I have no idea how he would know to make that connection.
What are you two doing together? Don't think we didn't see you two chatting up a storm just now. The moment we came over, you started talking.
These two!
Is that so?
Interesting
I'm
combination.
afraid you're just overthinking things.
We were merely discussing wine and food. I'm sure you two wouldn't be interested.
That sounds like a lie, Venti. Why does that sound like a lie?
Speaking of good sides with sake, I personally prefer fried tofu.
Of course you do. Bring forth the fried tofu.
Forget it. Even if those two are plotting something, they'd still never let us know.
Traveler, Paimon, it's a pleasure to see you.
Did today's signing go as
Indeed
planned?
it did. Thanks
Look
to
at him
you,
at his booth.
The signing event went off without a hitch. And I must say, the readers seem most satisfied.
Excellent.
Shito, is it just Paimon, or are you on the lookout for something?
Oh.
You aren't mistaken. Though I'm ashamed to admit it. But in fact, I've been on the watch for tourists from Larua.
Oh?
After all, I came to Inazuma under the pretext of evaluating a potential investment. If an acquaintance were to see me sitting here, then there would be no way to hide the truth from my father.
That is so funny.
Fortunately,
Do you think he knows
the crowds
that
of
his son
readers
is a
that came
published
flocking
author?
Over have kept the usual tourists at bay. Oh, I should mention, Shu is also unaware of the real
Really?
purpose of my trip. If you happen to
It's
meet him,
impressive he was able to keep it from him.
remember to keep it a secret.
Don't worry, we've got you covered.
Then, please accept my thanks in advance. I'm sorry that I can't chat long. There are still readers waiting in line. I'll see you later at the unveiling ceremony for Kuronushi's portrait.
Seems like things have gone successfully.
Greetings, traveler.
Oh, hi!
Paimon.
Are you aware that your family might be targeted by a sabotteur?
We get to see the busiest person of all.
Yes, there were many things which required my attention these past few days.
I'm still enjoying his
Fortunately,
design.
the Irodori festival is proceeding smoothly.
I like the gold ropes
The
and the
Tri-Commission
purple ropes.
cooperated closely to prepare this festival, so at long last, I can take a break today.
I love how the blue is slightly between
Brother
blue
and
and
I are
purple
very grateful for your help.
to tie together the purple of the region and the blue of his vision and design.
Toma sure is taking his sweet time.
Oh, you're waiting for Toma.
Yes. Today is one of the rare occasions when Brother isn't busy. I was going to buy some books,
He's
but
so
he said
tall.
he wanted to come along. His treat. However, he forgot his wallet at home, so he asked Toma to go back and fetch it for him.
Everyone's forgetting their wallets
I
these
didn't
days.
think Ayato could ever be forgetful like that.
Brother always works diligently, and it's rare for him to ever put his duties to the side and relax. So, Toma and I really cherish such moments when he's forgetful.
Really? That's interesting. That's a fun way to think about it.
What are you doing here? Why aren't you at the festival?
It seems like this person had to go track down all
I
these
came here
characters.
to
I'm
take
very
in the
glad that
sea
they did.
breeze. Such a bustling atmosphere is never really to my liking.
Are you really alright, Kazuha?
I knew you were still worried about me. Thank you, but please, don't worry. The things I said in front of everyone weren't just pretty-sounding excuses. Look, see this familiar harbor in front of us? Before, you could sit here all day without seeing a single ship pass through. Instead, all you would see were soldiers from the Kanjo Commission, guarding against possible intruders. But now, it's become a bustling place. Not only are foreigners coming to Inazuma again, but traffic between here and Watatsumi Island has also been picking up.
Oh, excellent.
Inazuma's already started to change, huh?
I was thinking, in some ways, each and every one of us are similar to this country. It might take a different amount of time for different people, but there will inevitably come a day when each person can let go of their burdens.
That feels very
And when
deliberate.
they finally let go, they are free to follow the wind as they please.
I feel like that's going to be very relevant for a certain somebody.
Ceremony. Let's head over to the 5 Kasen Plaza.
Everyone,
Bye,
welcome to the
Kazuha.
magnificent Irodori Festival.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Today, we have ushered in the final stage of our festival.
Yes.
And now we will reveal the final portrait of the 5 Kasen. Kuronushi, which was done by none other than our guest artist from Mondstadt, Calx.
Yay! Good job, good job. I'm sure it looks amazing.
I have no idea what
I'm so
Albedo's
curious.
portrait looks like. Oh, this is so nerve-wracking.
Let's all count down together. 3, 2, 1.
And? Let us see it.
What's this? This
Of
piece depicts nothing but a background.
Of course, just like in the book.
To include the character.
Scenery. A risk.
Let's hear some words from Calx himself regarding the creative process behind this piece.
Frantically hoping he'll explain.
First, I would like to say that it was an honor to be invited to create the portraits of the 5 Kasen. The 5 Kasen are legendary figures from ancient Inazuma, famous for their works of poetry. As time passed, poems were composed about them, and they became the subjects of many stories. I learned from existing sources about those stories that the character of Kuronushi is the deepest and most differing of the 5 Kasen. Moreover, Kuronushi lacks a dedicated chapter among the stories. It's as if he is a behind-the-scenes role of the 5 Kasen. Perhaps we can assume that every creator had a different understanding of Kuronushi. So, in the same way, I also wanted to leave this character to everyone's own imagination. After all, the Irodori Festival is a place for everyone to express their minds through creative works.
Yep, that's Albedo for ya.
Clever.
Simple logical explanation is sure to win everyone's approval.
That's really cool.
It seems that our adventures at the Irodori Festival have come to a close.
Are you sure? Aren't you forgetting something, Paimon?
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
Oh, right!
Oh.
We still haven't figured out who left those stories of the 5 Kasen for us to find.
But I have an inkling of who it might be.
Come on then, who is it? Tell Paimon!
Is it Yaemiko? First, it's someone who knows every one of us.
Otherwise, there'd be no way to give the right paper to the right person every time.
Also, they are connected with the Kaedehara clan.
Even though they were using stories to hint us toward Shincho's troubles, the real goal was to lead us to solve the secrets of the Kaedehara clan. Paimon gets it now. Well, at least Paimon thinks she knows.
I actually have no idea.
No, we'll get to the bottom of this.
Either Yaemiko or the previous. Oh! Oh!
Don't you think you overdid it a little? Leading all your friends on a wild hunt like that?
Oh, no wonder I had no idea.
As it just so happens, one of the reasons I'm here today is to explain the details behind this.
I feel like I still technically haven't met this guy, so I have no idea what his character is like.
Paimon wants to see how you'll explain yourself out of this one.
First of all, the start of this whole incident was due to mere happenstance. You see, Lady Yai happened to catch sight of Shincho and the editor carrying the books away one night. She thought it was interesting, so she asked me to tease them a bit.
Oh, that's really funny. Of course she would. Of course she was involved. That little smile.
That's right. But using the story of the 5 Kasen to guide you to the Kaedehara family's secrets was my personal touch.
And of course he would have a personal investment in the understanding because
approach,
his own family was involved.
Well, that was something which I had no choice but to do.
You had no choice.
Yes. Due to a certain incident that occurred earlier, I happened to notice the bonsai plants left behind by Kaedehara Yoshinori, as well as the blank papers hidden inside.
Wow, you got there fast.
I knew there was more than meets the eye regarding those papers, but it took me some time to figure out the secret behind the ink, the kind that would only appear when exposed to water. What Kaedehara Yoshinori said in the letter is very important for both the Kamisato clan and the descendants of the Kaedehara clan, especially Kazuha. The Kaedehara clan used to be subordinates of the Kamisato clan. It was my ancestors who were unable to protect them all those years ago. So now, this obligation fell on my shoulders.
I see.
Although he has the
is
right to know
Kazuha listening over in the corner there?
The closer he draws to things hidden out of sight, the closer he also draws to danger. I had to confirm whether Kazuha has both the will and ability to be privy to the truth. Of course, I could outright tell him the truth that I had discovered, but maybe he doesn't have the will that's required. In that case, the truth would only become a burden to him. If he lacks the ability, then he wouldn't be able to find the truth in the first place. In which case, It would be better to keep him away from danger altogether.
Very
Kaedehara
calculating
Yoshinori
mind
left
here.
his message in a roundabout way precisely for this reason. For a long time, I yearned for a suitable opportunity to convey this matter. Right up until the night when a legend of sword was smuggled away.
So he's known of this for a while.
Paimon gets it now.
But why was everyone else involved too?
It wasn't only Kazuha. You brought all of the rest of us into this plan of yours.
I figured you would ask this question eventually. I merely saw that this matter would be of value to you.
Sure,
And
you know
more
us,
importantly,
but
I hoped that while Kazuha and Ayaka were looking for the answers
see.
together, they would have some reliable friends by their side.
friends, gotcha.
Reliable friends who would be willing to protect them and make measured decisions. Friends who would spare no effort to lend a helping hand in times of trouble.
In times of trouble, Shingsho comes to me. Indeed.
The same enemy together in the future.
So who is Kunikuzushi?
You already know the answer deep down inside, don't you? The
That
answer
flat
is
look.
actually hidden in the portrait of Kuronushi.
Really? Let's
When
look at
there's
it
no
again.
one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes.
Is there
As
some
for
sort
the
of
means of revealing that answer,
elemental
well,
sight? Water?
you have used it many times before.
Look away, Albedo. I'm gonna throw water upon this portrait.
Getting pretty late, so nobody else is around now.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
So Ayato must have been telling us to splash water on the portrait, right?
I sure hope so. Otherwise, we're about to ruin this thing. The splashing noise. Ooh.
It's the Balladeer!
Oh, there he is! Okay, how did Albedo know, though? But still, there he is!
He was the one behind the trouble all those years ago!
In the art style!
When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes. As for the means of revealing that answer, well, you have used it many times before.
Yes, we just saw
Also,
this.
there's
Oh.
one last thing that we must discuss.
There we go, more information.
I mentioned earlier that the occurrence of a certain incident made me notice the bonsai plants.
Yes! Thank you!
I wish to tell you of that incident now.
Excellent.
It was just after the Shogun announced the abolition of the Sakoku decree. I heard that something had happened at the Tenryou Commission. They had discovered signs that someone had entered the warehouse storing the Commission's articles of evidence and confiscated items. But nothing was stolen.
Mysterious.
I felt something unusual.
What happened
about
to your
that
voice
incident.
filter?
So I told Kujo Sara of the Tenryou Commission to treat it as if nothing happened. She was not to increase the guard or relocate the warehouse contents.
Okay.
In the meantime, I sent a member of the Shumatsuban to keep watch over the warehouse. And sure enough, someone was sneaking in and rummaging through the belongings of the Kaedehara clan.
You mean, he was also looking for...
Looking for the evidence?
I let him search for a while, but in the end, he found nothing. Soon after, he had to leave Inazuma by boat.
Okay.
Why didn't you send someone to catch him?
The best way to protect a secret is to treat it as if it doesn't exist, is it not? Besides, the identity of this person is not hard to guess. After he left Inazuma, I carefully checked the Kaedehara clan's belongings one by one, and eventually discovered the papers in the hidden compartment of the flower pot.
So if this identity wasn't
I am
hard for
certain
him to
that
guess,
the papers are the secret which the infiltrator sought to find, though he couldn't confirm whether this secret existed at all.
is he privy to the knowledge about the
So,
puppets and the
now onto my
existence
final question.
of the prototype puppet? And that's how he's able to make that
Which part of
guess?
Kaedehara Yoshinori's experiences was the secret that needed to be protected?
That Kaedehara Yoshinori knew that the family was framed, that Kaedehara Yoshinori knew that the culprit was named Kunikuzushi, or that he was spared by his opponent. It was the sparing, definitely. Because the perpetrator wanted this name to be delivered, so that's not the secret. That the family was framed, also not really the secret. Because again, if Kunikuzushi wanted this name to be delivered, then he didn't mind that his involvement was known. So the fact that he was spared, I think it's because I have a theory about why he was spared. It's a very obvious theory, but I do have a theory. But I'm guessing that if he spared him, for reasons we will discuss in the theory, then he didn't want any punishment to come to him afterwards or any consequences as a result of that. It would defeat the whole purpose of the sparing. So I that's my guess. Anyways, moving on.
I don't have an answer to this question at present, so I'll leave it to your future self.
I guess it shall remain a theory indeed.
As for now, please, enjoy yourselves at the Irodori festival.
My question is, how does Albedo know what he looks like, though? Oh, he went to go talk to somebody while... Oh, is there more? Is there more? Is that the end? Wait. Okay, so there's this other video which has Lumine in it as well. It's the only other one that I've been able to find that has Lumine. I didn't watch this one because it's very saturated, but it seems to end at the same spot.
That the papers listed at all.
I'm guessing, and there's so little time left, and they have their ending screen. So I guess that's the end right there.
I'll leave it to your future self. As for now, please, enjoy yourselves at the Irodori festival.
So I guess that's the end. Okay. It really just didn't feel like the end because I was waiting for more answers as to who did Albedo talk to about references for the final portrait. Maybe it was Kamisato Ayato, except I don't know how... Again, I don't know how Albedo would have made that sort of connection. Wow, that was delightful. Thank you so much to Holy Balls for providing this for us. Okay, let's see. I have my theory, which I will share, but I'm trying to think if there were any other things I wanted to tie up. Let's see. The main question is just how on earth did Albedo figure out what to draw for his final portrait? But that was super cool. Oh, and how did Kamisato Ayato know the identity of the person looking through the warehouse? Because if he said the identity wasn't hard to guess, there's basically two identities for this person. Because we know this person was the Wanderer. So, or the Balladeer at this point, I suppose. That's the name they keep using. So, there's the identity as a Fatui Harbinger. That's one of them. That could be the reason that Ayato chose not to engage, because it would be very dangerous for anybody that he sent in, and if he sent himself in, it would be an international incident. So there's the Fatui Harbinger side of the identity, and then there's the denizen of Inazuma, puppet of the Shogun side of the identity. So I'm not entirely sure which aspect Ayato was talking about when he said that the identity isn't hard to guess. But to be honest, my guess is that he was talking about both. But then that would mean that he has an enormous amount of information at his disposal. The only people that we've known to know about the Balladeer's identity, all sides of it, are Yae Miko and possibly the Shogun. I don't know how much she's aware of what her prototype puppet has been up to. But Yae Miko knows his identity 100%. And so, because she's the one who told us. So it's quite possible that A does as well. And it's also quite possible that the Shogun knows. Who knows if the Shogun knows that she has an older brother, technically? So, that was interesting. It basically just means that either Kamisato Ayato is incredibly intelligent. He's definitely at least on par with Kokomi, looking at the way that those two are so, they have so much forethought and insight. You could see that in the way that Ayato was handling this whole situation with Kazuha. It was very reminiscent of how Kokomi plans for any eventuality. So, either Kamisato Ayato is incredibly smart, or this information was confided in him at some point about the identity of the Balladeer and the fact that there are puppets and that a puppet prototype still exists to this day. So that was all very interesting. I'll wrap it up here. Let's talk about my theory. My theory does indeed have to do with the Balladeer, and I wrote it down. Let's see. He was talking about somebody named Niwa, right? So when he was fighting the Kamisato commissioner and the Kaedehara clan head, when he noticed what the Kaedehara clan head looked like, he stayed his blade, and he said, "Are you related to somebody named Niwa?" And Kaedehara, what was his name, Yoshinori? At that point said, yes, that is my father's name, right? And that his name is no longer Niwa. So this is the family name was Niwa. His name is no longer Niwa because after his father disappeared, he was adopted by the Kaedehara clan. So first of all, that's super cool. It's kind of similar to Kuchosara, kind of, in which, even though he was adopted, he was given full family status by the clan. He was given their last name, and he became the clan head. So I think that's pretty neat, how they're not so strict about the, blood lineage. It's more just, you are part of our family, so you are part of our family. You get to inherit. That's pretty nice. So, but that means this person, Niwa, definitely had some relevance to the Balladeer. And there's two possibilities here, which tie in. This is tying into another theory I had way back when. Oh, when was that? Oh, it's when we first met him in Inazuma, in that domain we were in. Basically, I had a theory then that the Balladeer had lost someone very important to him. And I can see there definitely is a possibility for that to be Niwa. But my two ideas about Niwa are either A, he is that person that the Balladeer lost. We know that Niwa disappeared, and we know that being a descendant of Niwa was enough to, just that sheer fact alone was enough to convince the Balladeer not to kill somebody. So, it's quite possible that Niwa, if I'm right, or even slightly accurate in my theory, that the Balladeer is kind of the way he is about humans, you're so weak and pointless because he lost somebody. And he's trying to basically not feel that same way again and try to avoid those feelings, the grief that he feels about that loss. So if Niwa was the person that he lost, that would explain why he immediately left Niwa's descendant alone and didn't hurt them any further, even left the rest of the family alone, even though he kind of already destroyed their lives. Oops. He didn't try to finish them off after that. So then the other idea is that if that's not the case, then this Niwa person could just be someone to whom he owes a debt. And this is the, less involved, less personal theory. Just maybe Niwa helped him escape A's gaze and Yaemiko's, attention. Because I'm assuming that when they let him live his life in Inazuma, they didn't just, stop paying attention to him. I'm thinking they probably kept tabs on him because he's a very powerful individual. So they probably just don't want to not know kind of generally what he's up to. At least that seems a little irresponsible if you don't keep a little bit of a, not spying on him or controlling his actions, but just keeping an ear out for what he's up to make sure he doesn't do anything bad. But maybe Niwa helped him escape their gaze and sort of start a new life outside of their realm of influence. That could be one thing. Or maybe if he was ever in trouble, Niwa could have helped him, because we don't know if he was super strong from the very beginning. It's quite possible that he was, because he was supposed to be a prototype Shogun puppet, and the Shogun puppet needs to be very strong. But there's a whole multitude of things that Niwa could have done for him. So it could just be that he owes that person a debt, which is why he did not kill his son. But I'm inclined to think it's something more similar to the first train of thought, because we know that Niwa disappeared. And that would mean that at least one human that the Balladeer has known has mysteriously vanished, possibly died. That seems like an important piece of history to keep track of. Anyways, those are my theories currently. And I'm very excited to see how they turn out. Oh, this was such a fun event. I really enjoyed seeing everyone. A bunch of my favorite characters were in here. We got to see a little bit from Kamisato Ayato, which was interesting because I haven't seen anything from him so far. I don't think he was even in the game up to the point where I've played. It was really nice to see Xingqiu. We use him so much on our teams that I love seeing more of his personality and hearing more of his story. And he gets to be an author! Good for him. I'm sure he enjoys it very much. That's super fun. And Venti was there too. I'm surprised that nothing happened besides what happened with Venti being there. I would have assumed he would have gotten into some shenanigans, but he behaved himself. Quite impressive. I don't know why this video isn't loading anymore, but Oh, there he is. But yeah, that was a really lovely event. It was quite long, turns out. We're looking at about 2.5 hours almost. A bit less than that. On the time right now, so I'm quite impressed that there was so much content in this event. But it does seem like it was very story-based, not a whole lot of, you know, tasks to do besides just running around to talk to people. It's interesting to see how the designs of these events change over time, but it seems like it was a lot of fun. Oh, how delightful. Alright, well, that is the Irodori Festival all wrapped up. I know that we have, I think it's up here even. I don't know if that's the one that I want to watch, though. I need to find one to watch. The Summer Fantasia event to do as well before we start recording Sumeru, so that is next on my list. But for now, that is all. I really enjoyed this event, so I hope you all enjoyed watching too. Thank you again to everybody who recommended and reminded me to watch this. I enjoyed it quite immensely. And thank you for watching. Yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Reaction or episode, whatever that may be. Have a great rest of your day, and bye now.